natural. Hello, and welcome to the Saturday Night Live with Downsizing Diva and Simply Taisha. How are you? You
Pretty
look
good.
like you've been on vacation or something.
Because I stay out here in the sun lately.
Yes, I love it. So we are, Taisha, can you believe this? We are live together. Who knew?
Finally.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you guys, I think I mentioned this on my live Friday night that, Taisha and I had talked about collaborating, getting together, doing a live back in, was it May, Taisha? I think it was in May.
Before the summer.
I'm telling you, we had the day we were going to do it on Tuesdays, and we were going to go live in the evening time. And then right when we were gonna start, I said, wait a minute, I gotta back this train up, sister. I can't do it. I said, way too much. I gotta slow it down. Just give me till school's out. And then once school is out, I can't believe school is starting back. Everything just went so fast. I feel like I'm kind of like living somebody else's life, but I'm also living my own too. And so Taisha was like, I don't care when we do it, let's do it. And then so I finally thought, okay, let's do it. I started giving her some different times and days. She's like, I don't know if I want to do that. Oh, maybe we shouldn't do that. So then it went from me to her. And so anyway, that brings us to where we're at, because I was determined to get together with her and do a live so we could talk about the Zepbound and Mounjaro of it all before school started back. So here we are, and we'll do some other things in the future, but when you got two busy ladies, what are you gonna do?
I know. And now I've just become busy all the time, where before I was home. So we'll both be busy. So I guess it's good. We'll fit it in.
Yes. So we have some people in the chat. We're just going to shout out the chat real quick, and then we will get into it. And people in the chat, tell us what state you are from, because I know this is something Taisha loves to do on her lives on Monday nights. She's live. And tell us what state you're from. What are you repping today? What state are you repping? All right, so let's see. So we first, Taisha, in the chat, we had the Mel B. She says, good evening, Dee and Taisha. Hello, fellow divas and gentlemen. Woohoo! Dee and Taisha together in the live. I love that too. It's so cool. We have DJ Meyer. Makes me want to get out my DJ. This is another live just ahead. Thank goodness for this medicine. Oh gosh, we got to be on point tonight, Taisha.
Yep.
It's life-changing for a lot of people, including us, right? Yeah, Taisha and I, we have been changed by these medications, so we agree. We have Mayor Mindy. Can't have a live without that Mayor Mindy up in here. Mayor Mindy, she says, I love this creator combo. I love that creator combo.
I do too.
That sounds cute. DJ, she says, great live. Okay, she's filling the vibes. I saw these people in there earlier. Look, Keisha, she says, hi, Diva, Taisha, Mel, Mindy. Hi to everyone.
Hey.
Yoo-hoo, your energy is needed tonight. Okay, well, I have a hard time toning it down. I'm going to be maybe calmer because we have my Zen friend on tonight.
I love your energy. Do not step it down for me. You're going to bring me up. It's all good.
Okay. Well, DJ says, love my compound Zep down 40 since March. Slow and
Ooh,
steady. I love that. And I love those
nice.
little turtles. Yes.
Yes.
They're crossing over. I love it. Very good. Doris is back. Hey, Doris, how are you? Okay, we have Kelly. How are you, Kelly? She says, thrilled to be on the live. Thrilled you are here. Looking good. I love the curls. I'm a curl girl.
Yeah.
You can't tell because I'm straight now, but I do love a good curl. Um, Mel says, tell everyone, please like and share the live. And thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Like and share and subscribe to Downsizing Diva if you're not subscribed. Subscribe to Simply Taisha if you're not subscribed. All right, Losing It Gray says, look at these beautiful gems over here. Hi, Didi and Taisha. Love it. Thank you. Real Journal Talk with V says hello. The MVP. I love
Yay.
that name. The most valuable player is in the house. She says, hi, Didi, Taisha, and community. Nice to see you both on the same live. Yes. You know, there's a song that reminds me of, but I'm not going to sing it. It has a word that's not a YouTube or, you know, the song I'm talking about. Yes. Okay, all right. Well, we have Bellflower Nicole.
Yay.
How are you? She says, good evening, everyone. Yes. We love that. Okay, so they are telling us where they're from. Oh, we got Idaho, Boise,
Ooh.
sunny there. And look at that profile pic. It makes me want to like dive in, even though I can't swim though. But you know. Doris, oh, she's from PA. I never
Hey.
heard of Broad Hesville, PA.
I'm not. No,
Hesville.
I
Oh,
haven't.
okay. Very cool. Texas. I was just in Texas, nature girl. That's a good name for Texas. Jeez Louise. Charlotte, North Carolina, number 704. I love that. Mindy is repping for real, isn't she? All right, Lakeisha is from Louisiana. Hello. It must be hot in Louisiana. I picture it being super hot there. Kelly is from Maryland. Hey, Kelly. We have MVP is from New York, New York. New York. I shouldn't sing that, Alicia. It's in my head. Real Circle Talk with me. North Carolina too. Jazzy, just coming out celebrating her birthday. How are you? Welcome. Brown Velvet. She says she's from Arizona. I
Hey.
love that. I feel like it's the spas of it all when I think about Arizona.
Hot.
A lot of like luxuriating, I think of for some reason, and the scorpions, but we're not going to talk about that. Bellflower, how are you? Bellflower is from Maryland. Okay, she's representing that Maryland. Love it. We have Sin. Was it Sin? I don't know how to pronounce Cynthia. Sin. Or do you call yourself Sin? My aunt's name is Cynthia. So I always think of home when I see you up in these chats. Now, are you saying Sin or C? Cynthia. I love Cynthia though. All right. The Mail to the Beat. We know she's representing that Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Love it. All right. The land of left turns. I mean, the sunshine state of Florida. Oh, Grace, you're in Florida too. We have a lot of Floridians up in here. Rita, how are you? Look at you. You're on somebody's red carpet. I love that. She says, happy Saturday off. You look like a beauty. I love the profile pic. It seems like you're somewhere official. Like, I don't know where you are, but it looks official. Okay, all right. So let's see. Carol, you're from Australia? Are you from Aussie land? Yes, Carol, welcome. And we got our girl Jo. Okay, I had to put this up here. Taisha's giggles are my favorite. I love that. I'm gonna get her to giggle, right? I'm gonna get her laughing up in here. All right, Joe, how are you, Joe? Joe Sleep and Slim Down Journey. She says, hi, my beautiful friends. Check out these goddesses on our screens. Thank you. This Saturday evening. Thank you for stopping in. Okay, I think we have everybody, but wait a minute. Hold up, wait a minute. It's our own. It's Darium. How are you? I don't know where you're joining from. You could be down the street for all I know, but it's Simply Divalicious. Yes,
I like
it
that.
is.
I
Simply
like that.
Divalicious. Look at that. Darium, I tell you have a way with words. Geez, Louise. Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay, so you know what? Thank you for sharing where you're from. Thank you for joining the chat. So we're going to start off with just talking a little bit about how we started on our Zepbound Mounjaro journey. So I will let Taisha start, tell us how you started on your Zepbound journey.
Okay. I started on my Zepbound journey. I made the decision, I want to say in November of 2023. I had had an unsuccessful attempt at Wegovy, and it was because of me, not necessarily because of the medication. I wasn't doing all the things that I'm doing now. So, found out about it. Um, I was going through a place called Parkview Management or Parkview Weight Management, and she didn't want me to be on that. So even though she had prescribed Wegovy before, she didn't want to prescribe Zepbound. And I was also on Vyvanse at that time because that's approved, FDA approved for binge eating disorder. So I started combing, the subreddit for Zepbound, looking at videos online, and I found out about telehealth. I had never used a telehealth provider. So I scheduled an appointment, got my labs from the VA, sent those over, and I started in February. And so I was actually approved in, let's see, I want to say the end of January, but it took a while for the prior authorization and stuff to go through. So once that went through, then it was a matter of getting the medication, and the rest is history.
The rest is history, as they
The rest
say.
is history.
Well, you
But
know what? Oh, go
oh, you
ahead.
know what? I should have said, okay. So what was going on is after I came off the Wegovy, I gained a significant amount of weight in a small amount of time. I'm sure it was a lot of inflammation and stuff like that, but it was over 30 pounds. And I had I had a lot of different issues that were just getting worse. And I got to a point where I started to feel really hopeless. And when I found out about the medication, it was like that last glimmer of hope, like maybe I'll try this, maybe this will work for me. And when I got approved, I made a promise to myself and I had told my husband, I'm going to do it the right way this time. And yes, so then here we are.
Well, just listening to you, I knew this, but it just kind of, reminded me that we have two things in common, that I don't think we talk about too often, but we both started in February of 2024 because that's when I started my Mounjaro journey. And the second thing was, gosh, you just said it. And did I lose my train of thought? Oh, you also took Wegovy, something before Zepbound, and I took Rybelsus, which is the pill form of Ozempic, before I took
Yeah.
Mounjaro. So we have that in common. And the difference there is, the Wegovy, you said you really weren't in that frame of mind, the lifestyle to make the change. I probably wasn't either, now that I'm thinking about it, because my head is not where it is since I've been on this journey. It's not, as there, but I just could not tolerate the Rybelsus. Like it just made me feel bloated. It made me feel tired. It zapped all my energy, and so I was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic, and that's what started my Mounjaro journey. I don't say that's what started my Mounjaro journey. That's what made me just think I got to do something, right? Because before I was, I went to Weight Watchers. I say I should be a lifetime member of Weight Watchers. I feel like I've lost 150 pounds at Weight Watchers just over time, right? Not all at one time. And so I want my key, but you can't get a key unless you lose it all at once like that. So, I feel like I was like a lifetime member, and I would always lose. The first 20 pounds came off quick. And then once it slowed up, it's my habits slowed down, right? I just started getting into some bad habits and eating, and I just could never figure it out for myself. And I thought, geez, I'm so successful at most things I do except for the weight. And I also think I'll use that as a crutch, though, because that's the one area where people don't expect me to be good at. So I think I was also using that to my advantage a little bit, because it was like, oh, I'm just going to be big. Nobody had great expectations for me to lose. And so, but when I got that type 2 diagnosis, diabetes diagnosis, I said, no, something has got to give. Because I just picture like being without a limb, being without, something, drastic happening. Now, I found it rather quickly because I've always been someone that got my took labs, and every 6 months or a year I would be getting labs. So at 6, I feel like I was kind of like, if I wasn't getting it with the gynecologist, I would be, getting labs done with my, primary care physician. So I was always getting labs. So I caught mine before it really got, out of hand, because I've heard some people, I was at 7.6, and I've heard people, be at 10, at 12, 15. And I always say I never knew it could go that high. So we caught it rather early, but it still nonetheless was, there. So I just thought, geez, Louise, I got to do something. So she introduced me to that Ozempic, and I said, oh, no, ma'am, I am not taking an injection. And I just was scared. And she was like, well, people report that, it doesn't hurt. It's really easy. She didn't have a pin in the office. So if she would have had a pin in the office, maybe I would be more convinced, because it doesn't stick out. You know what I'm saying? Where you can see the pin, the needle. So that's what ended me up on Rybelsus. So I get back to the doctor after the 3 months, because I thought I'm going to give this over the summer, really 2.5. And when I had the appointment to go back, I said, no, this is not going to work for me. I'm tired. She's like, well, you've added, some years onto your life. Your A1C has come down. And I think at that point it was back in the pre-diabetic range. And I said, no, ma'am. I said, I have to function. I have to be able to function and go to work. I have to be able to take care of my daughter. I can't manage it. So she says, okay, well, and I said, I can do this. I'm motivated. I can do this. And little did I know, it was not that, it's not a matter of willpower with these medications. And I think that's the thing that was like, I guess, what Oprah always says, an aha moment. But that's what made me realize, like, it's not that I don't have the willpower, because I have the willpower to do everything else. And so, once I, started taking Mounjaro and researching things about it and realizing that my doctor really never explained it. She did say it will help your brain. It will. The first thing I think they always say, though, is going to reduce your appetite, right? They don't really go into how it works with your brain and how, they don't really even talk about the hormones of it all. They just talk about the appetite suppression. So when I left there, so I left there thinking I'm doing this on my own, got to February of 2024. And I just thought, geez, I was feeling a little bit desperate, like I had to do something. So she said, oh, there's another, medication for diabetics that has come out. It's Mounjaro. And she said, but it doesn't have like a pill form, so you would have to take the needle. So I just thought, geez, I'm going to have to go for it. Now, I honestly didn't think I was going to take that injection right when I said I would. I got to the pharmacist. I thought maybe I'm going to change my mind. I actually got the medicine, got it home, and I prayed about it. And I just thought, I'm going to go for it. And so that was the life-changing thing for me. I took that injection, and I haven't looked back since. So
And here we are.
I'm excited about that. Now, I do want to say, we're going to talk a little bit about our journeys. We're going to go in the chat, take some questions. So if you have some questions about Zepbound, Mounjaro, put those in there. At the end, we are going to just talk about our content creator life. So if you're a content creator, in the chat, stick around to the end so that you could kind of hear, what is it like to be a content creator out in these YouTube streets? Because, we talk about it kind of, in our everyday life, but we just kind of wanted to be able to share some of our thoughts. And if you are a content creator, and if you have questions, you can ask us. I feel like we're just still like the little people on the totem pole. I feel like I know for me, I'll speak for myself. I feel like I still have a lot to learn, but I can share what I have learned so far. So that's
I'm there
the
with
plan.
you.
All right. So Taisha, tell us, how do you handle have you had side effects? And if so, how do you handle those? And if you don't have any, because you're shaking your head no, why not?
Well, I really believe, okay, and I also want to I'm going to say this once. Hopefully I don't have to say it throughout the night. When I talk about different things that I've done or the way things have affected me, I am in no way thinking that I am superior or my way is superior. I think that what I did on Wegovy, like I had greasy foods, I wasn't eating enough. All of the side effects that one would have, I had those on Wegovy, but I made no lifestyle changes. So this time, based off of what I saw other people, I cut out a lot of things before I even started. So when I say before, I mean like the day before. It wasn't like this preparation. So I didn't consume caffeine because I had read where different people were complaining about that. And I did consume a lot. So I switched to a whole food plant-based diet. Um, and then I incorporated drinking a lot of water. So I was already drinking a lot of fluid before, but now it was water. So I was getting a gallon of water in a day. And I'm not saying anyone needs to do that, but I was already used to drinking a lot of fluid. So I think making those changes helped. Um, Even though, because I never have still had that full feeling, I just had a suppressed appetite. So I was still able to eat. So I think that that also helped with cutting down on some of the side effects. And then I wonder if some of the side effects are because of that people get or because of the medication or because of maybe what you're eating while on it or maybe not eating enough. Because on days where, and this would happen even if I wasn't on the med, right? If I've noticed that it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and somehow I haven't eaten yet, I can find myself feeling a little like tired and foggy and out of it. So I wouldn't consider that a side effect. That is, girl, you need to go in and eat. So that's how it's been for me. As far as the I consume a lot of fiber. Okay. I'm doing probably nearly 50 grams of fiber a day. And I'm not going out of my way to try to eat that much. That's just part of the stuff that I eat regularly. So I think that a combination of all of those things helps keep things going. Um, yeah.
I
That
think that's
and
great.
whenever you're struggling, Senna gummies. Senna gummies.
Yeah, I heard those ginger gummies really work.
I've
Um,
never had those. I've never tried any ginger gummies. I'm not against it as long as it's gelatin free.
yes, I hear that's good for not being nauseous. I've had, of course, constipation, which when I got to this 12.5 milligrams, by it being such a higher dose, in my mind, I thought it would slow my digestion down even more, maybe. And so I thought I would have my constipation would be kicked up a notch. The minute I think about, oh, I need to take a Mago 7, which is what I take, it's I don't have the constipation anymore. It's like I have to go to the restroom. So it has helped actually to get up to this 12.5. Before that, my own, I haven't had severe side effects. And the one time I did have diarrhea and I was feeling, sick, but just that diarrhea is I ate like some Mexican food and I topped it off with a junior blizzard from Dairy Queen. And I had this all within the like a 2 hour period. And I didn't eat a lot, but it was just the oil of it all and the cheese of it all, all of that just made me go. So that it not make me go. I mean, I went until I just was tired of going. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know how, I could ever do this again. And I haven't. And so I haven't really had like being nauseous. If I'm nauseous, like you said before, it's because I find myself going so long without eating. And then my stomach, like today, wasn't a perfect example. My stomach felt nauseous all the way up until I ate today, which was around 1:30, 2 o'clock.
I ate around 4.
Oh, wow. 4.
Yeah,
That's
that
easily.
that was yeah, yeah. Actually, I just thought of something. I did throw up once. Day one of the shot. So when it came in the mail, I took it like immediately, right? And then my husband and I, we went to go run some errands. Well, I hadn't eaten, and we went to the gas station. He picked up a Kind bar for me because I used to eat those all the time. I took two bites of the Kind bar, and I was like felt nauseous. I threw up and that was it. That's the only time I've thrown up on this med. I keep forgetting that, but that's probably because it could be because of the medication, right? What else would have caused that? But I'll tell you, I've not had a Kind bar since.
Oh, wow. Wow. I love a good Kind bar too.
I know. They were good. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was. It could have been coincidence, but that was enough for me to be like, I'm not. We're not going to do that.
Now, you also said not eating enough also can, you believe causes side effects. And I will say that is true for me in my experience. Sometimes when I have not eaten enough, I've felt a little nauseous, but not to the point where I needed to take something. And,
Yeah.
for me, I am one of those people, this is just a thing of mine. I'm never a fan of taking medication. And it's
Yeah.
not the white knuckling it, because I know that comes up a lot. It's just that I don't like to take medication. I don't like to be in pain either. So if I get to that point, I'm one of those people, I'm going to beat you to the doctor if I feel like I need to go. But I
Yeah.
just have never been a fan. So right now, I only have taken Mounjaro. Before that, unless I got like antibiotics for a cold or some kind of medicine for a cold or flu,
Yeah.
I've just taken birth control, and that's it. I've never taken so a lot of these medications, if you ever come to one of my lives, I can't pronounce them because I've never heard of them. I've never taken them. I don't know a whole lot about medication because I don't take it. So, and I'm learning as my daughter, but my daughter really has never been sick really either. So, I don't really know a whole lot about meds. I think if you're one of those people that do, I think that's okay for you. But for me, it's just a challenge for me. So, this has opened up, it's opened up my mind to thinking like medication could be okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah. So on this journey, of course, that constipation. I take a lot of supplements. I do take that. So I take supplements. I think supplements have helped me. With my health at this point, because and I try to take the higher quality ones, they're not really FDA regulated. So when I say higher quality, it is a way you can research them to find out, if people have done their due diligence. But you could create a supplement, Taisha, tomorrow and call it the vegan simply Taisha supplement and
Right.
sell it. So, so I really have, taken, and if you watch one of my lives, I showed all those supplements I do take. I do believe in supplementing because I don't think we get everything we need in a diet. So because you're a vegan, you probably are, getting more fruits and vegetables than most of us if we're not on that path. And I remember when I had given up the meats for Lent and I was just eating a pescatarian diet. And I've done that plenty of times before, went vegan or vegetarian at some points in my life as like for a temporary thing. And I did it this time for Lent. And man, I was going to the bathroom every time I ate. I remember those days when you're a vegan, you really go because it goes right through you. So I miss that. I do miss that. So we haven't really had a lot of the side effects between the two of us, and you've had zero. So if you're somebody who's having severe constipation with the, care of your doctor, I would look into a vegan or vegetarian diet. I'm telling you, it really works. You still can get your protein in, it's the beans of it all. But for me, being a type 2 diabetic, because a natural question would be, well, then Downsizing Diva, why aren't you still doing it? Because I don't think I know for a fact because I was tracking my carbs. I just was eating. Taisha will tell you she eats a lot of carbs. So
Yeah.
for me, because I eat a lot of can't eat a lot of carbs, being a type 2 diabetic, it just is not the best diet for me. So if I get to the place where, my A1C is really under control, I probably would consider it again.
I do
So
want to make like add a little caveat to that. Switching to a vegan diet in itself is not going to help you, right? You want to specifically, and you could do this now as a meat eater, incorporate more whole foods. Now, again, if you're diabetic, I don't have any carb restrictions, so it's hard for me to, you know, keep showing you guys the stuff, and telling you, hey, this is what you can do because I know that I don't restrict carbs in any way. But focusing on whole foods, you can do that as a meat eater. You can add, chickpeas, tofu. Tofu will take on whatever flavor you add to it. So like if you season it with something that you like, just try that out, experiment with the different textures. But these are things that you could get in. Tofu can help you with protein, black beans, lentils, quinoa. These are things that, you know, you can eat as a meat eater, and that will help
yeah,
you with increasing your fiber. And
yeah,
things like nutritional yeast that has a lot of the different B vitamins, but it also has protein. Just 2 tablespoons, I believe, is eight grams of protein. Like you'd be surprised at how much is in some of these things. So I hear some of you meat eaters complaining about not getting enough protein. So I know that you could benefit from incorporating some of these things into your diet. I don't eat the like Beyond Meats, the highly processed stuff. Those are things that I used to eat before. I was eating faux everything and a lot of it, and that's not good for you. Um, those are not healthy options. That's what I should say. They're not healthy options. So it's not just about being a vegan, but what you're eating. Because as I say, I was a very unhealthy vegan before, very unhealthy.
I think the rule to help decide if something is healthy. We know whole foods are whole foods, but I also think if something has more than 4 to 6 ingredients and you can't pronounce a lot of them, and the first ingredient sounds like a chemical, that's probably not a healthy choice. And
Right.
when I was in traveling not too long ago, that's what I was looking at to choose my snack, which was the kind snack. They have all kind different types of snacks now. But really, those were the most, other than nuts, those were the healthier choices there. I
Yeah.
didn't really see fruit. I saw the protein shake, but even the protein shake has a lot of ingredients you can't pronounce. It's just not milk and chocolate, it has a lot of other things in there. So, so you just kind of have to, I think, weigh the good with the bad and just, decide, what's for you and
Right.
what you can sustain over time. I think that's key. Something you can do and do over time. And I do want to add, because I know you say this, but just in case there's anybody who's newly watching you, your choice to be a vegan is for, animal ethical reasons, not necessarily because you want to lose weight, right? Because
No,
I think
not,
a lot of
not
people associate it with that.
mm-mm. No, I've been a
So,
vegan since 2020.
okay, all right, very good. So, okay, so Taisha, you're maintaining, and I'm still trying to lose. Like I'm trying to get to that 30. I have what 29 more pounds, I think, to get to 100, which doesn't sound so far away. And you are maintaining. So you're maintaining on 5 milligrams. Are you having food noise? Do you still have appetite suppression? How are you managing that maintenance?
Okay. So for me, the shot is just as effective as it was for day one. Like I have yet to feel anything wearing off, right? There have been in this whole journey 2 times where I had a little bit of food noise, and that was when this was around the same time that I had missed a week and then dropped down to 2.5 for 2 weeks. This was all during the same time. One of my bunnies, Marshmallow, got sick. He almost died. He's here, he's good, but that was so stressful, right? It brought back all these memories of another bunny I had, right? So during that time, I experienced a little bit, not nearly to the degree of what it was before being on this medication, but those 2 separate times were the only times that I experienced that, and I didn't give into it. I was able to recognize it for what it was. I knew that I'm not hungry, right? I didn't feel like hunger. It was just like these ruminating thoughts. So, outside of that, it's just as effective. And I don't feel like it's too much. I'm not unable to eat. It's really a matter of being mindful. And today I wasn't being very mindful, which is how I ended up not eating my first meal until 4. But yeah, no food noise. Like that's why I said if my insurance were to stop covering this tomorrow, I would switch to vials and I would just be paying out of pocket. I
Yeah.
would cut out whatever I needed to cut out to make sure that I could accommodate that. And I know that's not a situation for everybody, but that is how impactful this has been for me. So some people don't understand like why am I still on it? Because I need to be on it. Like if I was able to do this before without it, then I wouldn't have been on it. And having that reduction in dose for that couple of weeks showed me, yeah, I made lifestyle changes, but this is doing more than just appetite control.
Yes.
It's obviously handling inflammation, like that 13.8 pounds in that short amount of time. The only thing that was different was the dose. And then we could put stress in the mix. I know that that can raise your cortisol levels, but I got to 5 and then everything was fine. And that was after the second dose of 5. So, and I didn't change anything. I didn't change anything. And when you track everything, it's very easy to tell if you've changed something or not. Like I know some people will say that different locations do different things, but unless you are tracking and doing the same things, you don't really know that, you know? As an opinion though. It's just an opinion.
That's okay. Opinions are welcome here. So, the Marshy, I forgot about the Marshy of it all. So I'm glad to hear he's doing well. It's like,
Yes.
I remember that time. So you were stressed during that time. So
Oh
I think
yeah.
that also played a part in it too. But I think, for me, the food noise, it just depends on the dose. Like once I start the dose, I've been staying on doses for 4 to 6 I want to say 3 to 6 months at least. So I've been staying on the doses. I'm at 12.5 now. And I start off with that appetite suppression. And it used to be like the first 3 to 4 days is the strongest. Toward the end of that week, it kind of weans off. And I always say that's when my willpower kicks in, or whatever you want to call it. Willpower, discipline, the brain, regulation, whatever is going on. I'm fighting it out, right? Because I always say you can overeat these meds. So I've been saying from day one, people have to give themselves credit. And I give Zepbound and Mounjaro and any other GLP-1 credit too. But it's also your decisions, because, I could say, well, I don't need to eat till 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And that could be my one meal and go to bed. But I'm deciding to get those, 16 to 1800 calories in. And, I'm making choices, for a lifestyle that I can sustain. Because am I going to be eating at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock most days? Probably not. So I'm trying to do things that I'm going to continue to do, and the medication has definitely helped with that. So I used to say, I'll get off. I'm going to get off, and I wanted to get off because I don't want to be on any kind of medication, really.
Yeah.
I don't think that's possible now that I'm looking at it. Now, I think we're going to have more studies coming up, and I think more people might find they're more successful than that, 15 to 18% initially that keep it off. And I think maybe people can keep it off a little bit more than that. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see when it, the studies come out, because I'm pretty sure they're working on, tracking some people and see how they, can lose over time or maintain that weight loss. But for me, I think I don't have Megan knees, but I got some good knees right now. I'm jotting up and down the stairs. I'm feeling like I'm 53, but I'm feeling like I'm 33. So I don't know how I'm going to maintain that without the meds, because it is doing other things other than even the inches. Like I feel like the inches, even when I feel like I've gained weight or ate too much, or my calories is telling me, scale it back, Diva, scale it back. The inches, I could still fit something that I couldn't fit, and I might not have gone down another pound. So I think it's just doing a whole lot more. And, I'm just going to really have to consider that. I have a long way to go, though, on these meds. So I got a while to think about it. But I do see myself kind of maintaining on a lower dose when I get to that point. So I don't know if how people feel about it out there. All right, we'll just have a few more questions.
We have a super chat.
We have a super chat.
We have a super chat.
All right, let's see.
From the Mel B.
The Male to the B. Shay and Taisha, thank you both for being so transparent and real and sharing your journeys. The positive energy and honest convo you bring every week is powerful. So many look up to you. Keep shining and sharing. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm trying to make there we go.
Yes, thank you, Mel. Let's give her an official thank you. Okay, let me find it here. Did it disappear? It didn't. So sweet. All right, so a few more questions, like I said, and then we'll go to the chat. I do want to say, somebody I kind of saw this in the chat as I'm, going by and just kind of eyeballing things. And somebody said, is it Mounjaro and Zepbound the same medication? It is tirzepatide. And, Zepbound is just for weight loss, right? And the Mounjaro is prescribed for diabetes. And so I think this is important for people to realize, though, that if you're under the healthcare of a physician, a doctor, their concern is your A1C. It's not so much the weight loss. My doctor, she's like, oh, you're going down. She doesn't care if I go back and lost 0.5. If it's going down, she's satisfied with that. She's more concerned with what my A1C is doing. That leads our conversation. So I would imagine when you're at Zepbound, it's different because you're not talking about the A1C. So if you're not with a doctor that's leading, if you're on Mounjaro that's leading about the beaties of it all, then I think you need to have a conversation with the doctor, because that is what you're taking it for. And we know, they tell you with Zepbound, you have to do your calorie tracking, you have to exercise, do lifestyle changes. They also encourage that from, when you're taking Mounjaro. Now, one thing I did find interesting, and I've been talking to some other people who I know are on Zepbound, and they do say that because you're on, you're taking Zepbound, your doctor may, encourage the higher doses quicker than they may on Mounjaro, especially if your A1C is regulated, because your goal is, weight loss. And although we know that, a higher dose does not equal more weight loss, sometimes it does. It just depends on the person, right? It's not true for everybody. So that's why they were telling people, don't race up to that 15 milligrams so fast, because that may not equal, more weight loss, especially if you're not making those lifestyle changes. With Mounjaro, that's going to look a little bit different for you, because if you have your A1C under control, guess what? Now you have to worry about it not dipping down too low. And so I think that also is a reason why people are kind of, I think, on Mounjaro losing slower and kind of tweaking things, because your A1C could dip down too low, and then you got another problem, which I think sometimes that could almost be just as serious, if not more, than, that high blood sugar level. Because I know people who've passed out, fainted, had to go to the hospital because it dipped down too low. So that's why it's important, if you're a diabetic, and I know people want that fast weight loss, we don't always have it, but you have to eat, especially if you're working out. You have to eat, because your blood sugar level can dip down too low. So I did just kind of want to say that, and if you're taking Mounjaro, hopefully you already know that from your doctor. But I do realize some people aren't necessarily seeing a healthcare provider. So if you don't get any other message out of today, find one. Find somebody you can go to and talk to and help you along on this journey, because, you might be thinking weight loss, but you also need to be thinking about that A1C, your cholesterol, and some other, lab markers that are going to determine, how healthy you are. I was talking to a friend today, Taisha, and she was telling me she has a friend that's on Zepbound, and she saw her. We were out of town actually at the same time. And she was telling me that this friend looks so weak and so fragile, and she's actually past whatever her goal was. I think her goal, I forget what her goal number was, but she's 5 pounds below that. But she said she looks so unhealthy and kind of fragile. And I thought, I can relate to that, because I know somebody I feel that way about. And I think, you just got to be healthy from the inside out. We all want to look good, and that's great. You want to look good, but you also got to get that lab work done, because I see a lot of unhealthy, thin people walking around. And I've had a couple in my family that aren't even here anymore. And they look like they were a pillar of health, but they actually weren't from the inside out. So
Right.
I think that, you got to get that lab work done. If your insurance doesn't cover it, pay that little extra money if you can save up for it, and do that, because it really is worth it. Knowledge definitely is power.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did you want to add anything to that, or?
I was one of those thin people. Like before I started having issues with weight, when I hit like right before my mid 30s, my blood work is better now than it was in my 30s and in my 20s. I mean, I've had high cholesterol, and that was definitely from the way that I ate, right? Because I had always been overindulgent. So I was, just doing things in excess that just weren't healthy. So even when I don't think I would have been considered a frail, skinny person. I was just skinny, right? Just really small, but I was not healthy. So skinny doesn't equal healthy. That's my little 2 cents.
That's a great point. And I will encourage people, to go get those DEXA scans. Somebody asked me when I was in Texas, like, how do you know, how about your bone density? How do you know about, your muscle mass? And I was like, because I got a DEXA scan. And so, I would encourage people to do that. I know people like to lean on those scales, the Renfo scale, the smart scale. Well, guess what? The smart scale is not that smart. Just like anything else, it's error. It's just not this is not the most accurate. So if you want the most accurate depiction of what's going on in your body, I would definitely get that lab work. Definitely, get that DEXA scan if you can, and just I would Google it in your area. A DEXA scan locations near me. Now, I have learned that you could get a bone density test probably through most insurances. Especially if you're a woman over 50 for sure. But I think it even is in the 40s. You could get that bone density test, and most insurances cover that. They don't cover a DEXA scan, though. A DEXA scan goes a little bit deeper. So I would definitely do that. And if you've been listening to me, you've heard me say that. I've talked about it on my channel. Simply Taisha has talked about it. I think your very first live, you were talking about your DEXA scan results, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'm a fan. 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 Jeez Louise. I remember that first live.
I was so nervous.
Yes, but that's okay. Look at you now. Look at you now. All right. So one last thing, and then we're going in the chat. Are you ready, chat? Any questions? I think Darian said put a Q, and we'll go to those first, and then we'll go to the comments, and then we'll talk just girlfriend talk. We're going to talk about these YouTube streets. Okay, so if I was watching somebody like you and I thought, what would I want to know? Like, what would I want to know as a newbie, right? Because, we got some veterans up in here in this chat. But if I were a newbie, what would I want to know? So what could you tell a newbie? What would you tell a newbie if you could just say the most important thing you want them to know before starting this journey, or their first week on the journey, or first month? What's important to know?
Oh, wow. One thing?
Maybe two.
Okay. I can't understate this, right? Or overstate it. Do not compare your journey with anyone else's. It is not going to look the same. You can do the same things that everyone else does. You're not going to necessarily have the same outcome. Do not go out here and buy everything that you see everybody taking. Wait and see if you're going to need those things. Creatine is nice. I take it. I didn't start taking it until December. Electrolytes, like just pause and breathe and just initially like take your shot and get used to that. Figure out how your body feels and tailor it to, if you're someone that you get really tired or you're not feeling well, maybe schedule it if you're a working person, like on the weekends or where you can get time to adequately rest. Okay, I could go off on a tangent. Just start there. Just take your shot once a week as prescribed or as prescribed by your doctor, and start there. Take your shot and make sure you eat.
Great advice. My advice would be, and you probably all could have predicted this, but I would say go slow and steady. I'm telling you, that's one of the best decisions that I made. And, you might be saying, oh, you just didn't lose. That's why you're going slow and steady. No, I was eating. I'm telling you, I was eating. I was counting my calories. I was getting those calories. And this is what you say is so important, because I remember I was going about my way. I just was easy breezy, lemon squeezy. And I started looking at YouTube videos. And that's the worst thing I could have did, because that's when I started thinking, geez, I'm not down a lot. Like, what's going on? I see this person lost, 40 pounds in 3 months, and this person lost 50 pounds in 3 months. And that's when the doubt of what I was doing and how I was doing, that's when it kicked in. And, I something just told me to just like pray about it and keep doing what I was doing. And so in the meantime, I started saying, I got to just hold myself accountable and just stay, the course of what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And so that's when I started to, I thought, I could document my journey on YouTube. And that's what I started, document my journey. And that built up my confidence to do my own thing. Because if I hadn't started my channel, I think I would be trying to chase after those people that I saw losing super fast. And honestly, not everybody, but most of those people that I was watching that were losing super fast, their weight slowed down and they struggled and they got so discouraged. And I didn't have to do that, right? Because I was
Right.
always losing slow and steady. And so that's what that is one thing I will say. It's hard to do. I've made so many videos about that, and I still get people in the comments saying, it's been a week and I'm only down 1 pound. It's been, a month and I'm down 8 pounds. I'm like, 8 pounds in a month. I think I probably lost 8 pounds in a month maybe once since I've been on this journey for 16 months. 75 pounds is a lot and it sounds like a lot, but over time, I call my weight loss slow and steady because at this point, I don't even know if I'll be over, a pound a week. It has truly been slow and steady. And so that's why I, focus on those non-skill victories for me. So that's another thing I will tell you, slow and steady, take pictures, take measurements. And, even if you're in your journey right now and you have never taken a measurement, let's say you're a year in, start at that year, because when you get to that next milestone for yourself, or when you get to 6 months later, you're going to wish, oh gosh, I wish I would have taken it, taken the measurements at a year if you still have more to lose. So I would start doing that. Take those measurements, take pictures. I'm not a picture fan, but I've been taking pictures just to have that documentation, because sometimes when I get discouraged and, I'm like, oh gosh, why did I eat this? Or, did I have to have that second piece of cake the next day? Why did I do that? I start looking at pictures and it brings me hope. So if you see me all of a sudden posting shorts of myself before and after, that's why, because that's my way of giving myself a reminder that it's okay. I'm going to start again. And that's the difference between this weight loss and any other weight loss I've done, is that I'm starting the next bite, the next meal. I'm not waiting till the next day. I'm not waiting till Monday. My diet's always started on a Monday and they end it by Friday and they started back on the Monday. And so now I'm able to pick myself up and start again like the next time I eat. And so I think that's one of the best things about this journey. So take it slow. Now, if you are somebody who goes really fast and you slow down, just change that mindset. You got to change your mindset and you got to be realistic. People are not being realistic about how this medication works and about how fast you're losing. And I do want to add this because I realize, Taisha and I both have insurance that, takes up a big part of the cost of the medication. And, we both would, we say this all the time, we would try to figure it out and give something up to make it work for the brand if we could. But if you're on compound, or if you're somebody who struggles to, get that medication at the price you're getting it at, and you want to go fast, fast, fast because you can't afford it, I understand that. But I'm just going to tell you, you're going to go fast, 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 and then you might slow down. And then that's when you're going to have that mindset prepared for the slowdown. I don't really know anybody who hasn't slowed down, but maybe a couple people that are sharing their journeys that haven't slowed down. Most people slow down at some point in their weight loss. And so I would just say, just be prepared for it. Get your mind ready for it, and don't compare yourself, like Taisha always says. And you got this. You got it. You
Yeah.
got it. You got to have that mindset together. All right. So we're going up in the chat, Taisha, and we're going to see if we have any questions. And then we're going to talk YouTube. And if you guys have any questions for us about YouTube, about our journeys, ask away. Ask away. So do you see any questions, Taisha?
All right, let me go. Let me. Ooh, there's a lot of, let's see.
Yeah, a lot of nice comments.
They are. I'm looking for cues. It would be a lot easier. And you don't have to put like a million cues, just one.
I see
Um,
Elaine joined the chat. Hey, Real Talk with Elaine. I see she joined. Hi, Miss Rita. I
hey,
see Rita joined. I think I did see Nature Girl. Wait, she has a question. Nature Girl.
you do see one? Okay.
It's Darium. I think I said I saw he
Oh,
joined.
Grace,
Nature
I see
Girl.
a question from
No,
Grace. This is,
okay. I did answer
oh,
this
you
one. I'm
have them
sorry,
up.
Nature Girl.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
need to look
I
this
did
up.
answer this about the Zepbound and Mounjaro. They are both
Yes.
tirzepatide, and I kind of
Yes.
explained the difference. Okay. Now, what question did you see?
Um, It says, I realize for some time these meds are for life. Now that we know they are treating the disease of obesity, still I can't help but wonder with the lifestyle choices we are learning, why can't some of us get off the drugs and keep the weight off just with the lifestyle choices? Um, do you want me to answer
You
that?
can, and then I could add to that too.
And this is an opinion, by the way. I I think that it's because the medication is doing more than just appetite suppression. So there are a lot of us who struggled. I'll speak about myself. I struggled with food noise for the majority of my life, right? That's just the thing. And so the lack of self-control when it came to food, for me, Zepbound is the only thing to silence that. So my fear would be coming off of it and not just like the inflammatory stuff that it seems to be helping with. I haven't had any issues with IBS, and again, I did change the type of food I was eating, but it's doing more than that. And I say that because when I went off for a week and then had that 2.5, I retained 13.8 pounds of something. And once I went back up to 5 and continued as I, had been, it came off. So that shows me that it's more than just appetite suppression. Because even with that lower dose, I didn't go crazy or start feeling like I needed to eat more, but my body was responding in a different way. So that is it for me. Now, when I stopped Wegovy to gain so much weight, I didn't have any lifestyle changes in place. So I would have liked to believe that coming off would do that for me. But for me, I think that I will be a lifer, and I don't want to try it again. I don't want to try going down or coming off to prove that I can do this without the medication. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I'm fine. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with if this is the only thing I have to take for the rest of my life. I'm fine with that. But I was not able to control myself with food without it. And that's just
And
my story.
I think that kind of remains to be seen too, because I think, we say everybody's different. So there probably are people that can, obviously, they say 15 to 18% can maintain it, have maintained it. We don't know for how long because it's not a long-term study yet. But
Right.
I feel like if you want to go off and try and see if you can maintain it and you have the lifestyle changes in place, you can do that. You might be one of those people that can do that. But,
Right.
we know if it's regulating how your brain is thinking about food, that's going to be tough to do on your own, right? Without the medication. I mean, I can acknowledge that. So I think that that's why people are probably gaining. They're getting that food noise back. They're thinking about food. You don't have that medication, that signal telling you, that you're not hungry or you don't need to eat or making you feel like you're, have a fuller feeling. When you don't have all that, I would imagine it's a struggle. So, but some people, I say, I think they're probably doing. I think they're in the process of doing a study now, and some people might just be able to maintain it. But like some people can do lots of things that other people can't. It's just your body, your makeup, and if you're one of those people that want to try it, let us know how it turns out.
And I do have a
Stay
quick
in touch.
question. I have a quick question to go along with that. For the people that want to get off, if you're somebody and you're struggling now, like you're on it, you're not on the highest dose, but you notice that you're having uncontrollable food noise, how is coming off of it going to help you, right? Because if you're struggling now with the medication, you don't you're more than likely going to struggle when you come off. So if you people want to give it a shot, like Dee Dee said, go ahead. There's nothing. Give it a shot. There's nothing wrong with
But I'm fine.
trying, right? I get it. I'm not big on wanting to be on meds either, but this is gonna be a keeper. Because for me, I know that I'm one of those people that are wired that way. I'm going to need this for the rest of my life. That's what my body chemistry, that was the jump that I needed. So I feel like now I am operating on an average level. Maybe the average person, this is how they feel when it comes to food. They're not constantly thinking about it all the time or obsessing over it or having this weird amount of joy from just taking a bite out of something, right? Like that's probably not um normal behavior. And I feel maybe a little on the other end of normal because now I don't really think about I don't really think
Yeah.
about food now. But I do enjoy it when I eat it, if that makes sense.
I would like to say though, I think we have to let people be okay with saying they want to get off, because I know
Yeah.
I've heard some people kind of say, like, that's my pet peeve, or that bothers me when people say they want to come off. And I would, venture to say, when people are saying they're on high blood pressure medicine or any of that, do you get upset when they want to get off that?
Right.
No, we want them to get off. Your doctor even says, if you want to get off, this is what you need to do. And we know people have a hard time getting on that. I was always told with high blood pressure meds, once you get on, it's hard to get off. And so, but we are okay with that, right? We don't say, no, you need to stay on there. So I think if somebody wants to get off, let them get off and see if they can survive without it. Maybe they can, maybe they can't, and maybe they could get back on it. But again, we shouldn't compare ourselves in that way either, because I have heard a
Yeah.
lot of people saying, and I just think we need a mindset shift with that too. I think just let people be who they are, right?
And don't
So,
feel bad, right? If you come off and you're successful, that's great. Share that because that's going to give other people hope.
right.
But if you
Right.
come off of it and and stuff kind of goes in the other direction, don't feel any kind of shame or guilt or like you're failing in any kind of way. The medication is here for a reason. So if you need it, use it. If you feel like you don't need to or you don't want to, come off. And please share that because that would be good to know. More people, I've not been in a space where I've seen anyone come off of it and be successful. I know there are people who create content and they're talking about, coming off, but I see people come off, go on, come off, go on. I have not found a creator that has come off and successfully. I'm sure the person's out there. And again, share those things with me because I would love to watch somebody on their journey that's doing that, not going back and forth, someone who's coming off and maintaining and doing just fine. That's what I would love to see. Um,
Hello, Sandy. I see Sandy. I see Karen Salter K. Oh, very cute, very cute. Well, Darium has a disclaimer. The Simply Divalicious hosts are caring and compassionate people, but they are not doctors, pharmacists, or healthcare providers. They aren't offering medical advice. No
Thank
way, no
you.
way. Thank you,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
If you haven't liked and subscribed to both of our channels, Downsizing Diva, subscribe, subscribe. Simply Taisha, subscribe, subscribe.
Oh, wait, look, Dee. What little
Dang,
things
I
in
wish you
there.
could put one on my side. I love
I
those.
wish I could.
Yes, love it, love it. Very cool. All right, so we're looking for questions. Nia, I see came in the chat. We have, is it Rodrigo Gonzalez? A lovely name. Epitome of a diva, diva to diva. I see. Okay, very good. Let's see. Any other questions? Let's see.
I see where Mel answered Grace. She has some cues there, but she answered her.
See that.
You see that?
Ooh, here's a good comment. Also, making homemade pasta
Yes.
versus store-bought is a game changer for blood glucose control. Yes, yes, yes. And I
Ooh.
said I was going to make some pasta with the zucchini. I think didn't 2.0 mommy make it with squash?
Mm-hmm. She
Yeah, so
did.
I said I
Spaghetti
was going to
squash.
try that. Yes, I was going to try that. Um, Elaine, that is so funny. Jeez,
What
Louise, I can't say I'll do that, but
would she
I'll do
say?
a lot of things.
Let me see. Let me see.
All right, so somebody lost a lot of weight, huh, in 19 weeks. Very good, very good. No, it's not, let us say this too, Taisha. We want to say, even though I say slow and steady, that's my thing. You say slow and steady. If you lose super fast, I want to cheer you on. Good for you. It's not for people to feel bad about losing fast at all. Because if you lose fast, that's good for you. I think you got to embrace that. We're just saying I don't see that happening a lot. And if I do, it's the first, 4 to 6 months, and then it really tapers off, especially if you have a lot to lose. So that's what we're saying, just to keep your mindset going and not to give up hope. That's why we say slow and steady. But if you're losing fast and that weight comes off fast, I say cheers to you. Actually, I'm going to give you some confetti, whoever you are out there, because I love that.
Let me see.
Hello. My daughter was asking me about the zucchini. She ran upstairs to hear about some zucchini. That's her favorite. vegetable. Okay. Any more questions in the chat?
I
Any other
do
questions
see,
for us? Okay.
let's see, from Hey Miss V.
Hey,
Uh,
where's my girl? Hey, Miss B. I don't see her.
so are you looking in? I'm not looking in StreamYard. I can't access it that way. I popped out the YouTube chat. It's at 7:54. I don't know if you get timestamps in
Okay, that
StreamYard.
helped. Yeah, I'm getting a 7:54. All right. Now, Mel answered a question too, I saw in here. Is that
Hmm.
what you were talking about? How she answered the question?
I saw where Mel has answered. Yeah, she's answered a few questions. Um, but the
Okay, I'm
one,
gonna get to the this
okay,
you said 7:50. Oh, I see a 7:47 male answer too. Okay, let's go to Carol really quick. She
okay.
says, I'm a true turtle, 24 pounds down in 7 months on 10 milligrams, but beating sleep apnea. Anyone had low potassium? That's my next result from the blood labs, I guess.
Ah,
Ooh, okay. So you are going slow and steady, but you are losing. And one good thing about this is studies show that people who stick at it, even Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk, in their studies, people who stuck at, to it up to a year or more, they kind of caught up with those people. That's what I'm saying. People that lose fast, the slow responders, the ones that are moving like turtles, I call them sloths even, because they're going even slower than that turtle. You can eventually catch up with somebody. It kind of levels out. Isn't that cool? But you got to stick with it in order to see that, because it sounds unbelievable, right? But you got to stick with it in order to see that happen. So I would, Kira, we're going to give you some confetti. Excellent job. You're hanging in there. Now, I haven't had low potassium. I know they have supplements for that. I would talk to your doctor. Sometimes eating those bananas just aren't enough, especially if you are a type 2 diabetic. You might not want to eat too many bananas, but
and
that I know that's a go-to potassium. But supplements, I would talk to your doctor about that.
it depends too on the reason for the low potassium. Sometimes, if you're not getting enough nutrients for a significant amount of time, um, your potassium could be low. And I pulled up here really quickly just some foods that you can eat that would help. Of course, there's bananas, oranges and orange juice, cantaloupe, honeydew melon, kiwi, mango, avocado, and dried fruits. And then, as far as high potassium vegetables, sweet potatoes, these are probably, I don't know if you're diabetic, so I don't see you making faces. Are these like no
No,
no?
I love a sweet potato. I was going to say the best form of potassium for me is sweet potatoes. Like, I just love a good sweet potato.
White potatoes with skin, spinach, Swiss chard, broccoli, mushrooms cooked. And this also says broccoli cooked. Beets, butternut squash, tomato sauce, tomato paste, and edamame. So these are just some. Um, I
Whole
can give
food.
you. I'm gonna be quick. For whole grains, you can have lentils, kidney beans, black beans, chickpeas, quinoa, brown rice, bran cereals, and oatmeal. See, these are a lot of things that I eat every day, right? As far as protein-rich foods, salmon is one that would help you with the potassium. Tuna, halibut, chicken breast, which is moderate potassium. Tofu, tempeh, yogurt, milk, or unsalted nuts. And that's it. I won't keep going, but those, hopefully that list will help you with some things that you can do to get it in a dietary way. And I know your doctor can prescribe potassium. They can also do potassium infusions. So maybe talk to your doctor about that.
I think a lot of times I've found that when people are deficient, like severely deficient, where it shows up on a lab work, a lot of times it's time for like a supplement and also the whole foods. Like this, the eating the whole foods aren't going to do it. And I could be wrong, so talk to your doctor. But just in my experience, and just some of my family members I know had a lack of that potassium. And then also some of these supplements and vitamins work together
Element.
to pair up.
Element has
The element has
potassium.
potassium. Yes, I want to say it might have 1,000 milligrams in the
I,
element. I don't know.
I'm gonna grab that while you're talking.
Yes. Um, so yeah, so I would just, I would talk. That's why we always say talk to your doctor for the best results.
It has 200 milligrams
Oh, okay.
of
That must be the salt.
potassium and 60 of magnesium.
Yeah, like I say, yeah, 200 milligrams of potassium per serving. That's in one packet. So I'm not even
Mhm.
getting that because I usually split my packets, so I split it in half from day to day. But I think that's great. But again, I would talk to your doctor because
Yeah.
they're going to know how deficient you are and what's the best course of action to get you back your levels back corrected. All right, thank you, thank you. All right, so Mel answered this question. She says in clinical studies, I believe 17% were able to keep the weight off. There's a maintenance study. Yeah, I knew there was a study going on. It says is a maintenance on different doses and the titration, and it'll be done in May of 26. Okay, all right, very good. So I'll be curious to see about that. I can see all the content creators coming out with that
Mhm.
information about that study. Okay, so Nature Girl says she strength trains. Are you saying that? Very good. And I know Taisha does. Taisha has gotten into working out, has a personal trainer. I started doing Pilates, and I also have like something else in mind I want to do after my Pilates is over, because when school starts, I can't fit it in my schedule. But yeah, I think that's great to strength train and start off at, you start off at home doing what you could do if you're a newbie at it. If you could get to the gym, get to the gym. But there are things you could do at home. I know people who start off with like cans of soup, and they eventually, or that water, the water bottles, and eventually they like it, they like how they feel, they end up going to get some of those weights. I follow this one doctor, her name is Vonda Wright, and she says to the ladies out there, stop lifting those little pink barbells. Those, no, she didn't call them barbells. She's like, those little pink weights, you need to get some barbells. So I just think that's so funny, how she says that. And this lady looks good. She's in her 60s. She trains, athletes, and she's a orthopedic surgeon by trade. And I started following her, and she's the one who talks about, that doing a workout is just not enough. You need to get up and move in addition to your 45-minute to an hour workout that you're doing. So if you didn't check out my video about sedentary death syndrome, check that out, because that's a real thing. And it's funny, I was talking to one of my friends, and I know she watches my channel here and there, and she works out every day. She has a 6-pack or an 8-pack. I don't know which one. She's very fit, but she doesn't eat the healthiest though. But she was telling me, she called me, I called her, she called me and I called her back, and she's like, oh, I'm walking on the trail right now. And I'm like, outside, because that's not her thing. She likes the gym. And she said, yeah, she said, I know I get my workout in, but I also need to do something in addition to that. She said, so I decided to take a walk around the trail. And she's like, and when she used this word, I said, she was watching my video. She says, yeah, I don't want to be sedentary. All right, all right. I was so impressed. I said, okay, all right. So I love that. I was like, geez Louise, who knew? Like, me overweight still can inspire somebody that's, hitting the gym every day. And like, if she doesn't do anything else, she's gonna make it to that gym. And she has the flattest stomach I think I've ever seen, that doesn't have, it's just beautiful, right? It's just a beautiful, beautiful shape she has going on there. All right. So what else is going on in the chat? Let's see. All right. So unless we see questions, let's talk about, and do you guys have any content creator questions for us? Because Taisha and I chat, and sometimes we talk about this, the whole content creation of it all. And this has been such a journey for us. And right now, her channel's growing, my channel is growing. And one of so Taisha, I'm gonna say, what's the best thing for you about being the content creator, and what's the most frustrating thing about being a content creator?
My favorite thing is the community being, honest, whether it's, and I mean, as a whole, like being in the different spaces and meeting people and having this having these shared goals, right? Bringing us together. Um, Being the person creating content, it gives me this different level of accountability because, first of all, I don't want to fail, right? But I don't want to have to fail publicly. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that that also helps keep me going. Talking to people and, knowing that you inspire somebody like that, I don't know how to describe that feeling. Like it makes it all worth it, you know? Um, on days where I feel like, is anyone really listening? Are they tired of hearing the same stuff over and over? And then just to get a comment that, something I've said has affected somebody, like it's just very rewarding. So it's like I'm sharing and then other people are feeling comfortable enough to share. And yeah, so that's the best part. Um, the worst part is really, it's not even like the trolls. Like there are people who they have nothing better to do than make negative comments. And I understand, like, there are lots of videos that I see where they're beautiful videos, and there's going to be, you can always guarantee there's going to be somebody with something negative in the comments. So that doesn't really bother me too much. It used to irritate me a little more than it does now. Now I'm just like, okay, whatever, and I just keep it moving. But, and then also this this pressure, I don't want to call it pressure. I feel like as a content creator, I want to inspire people, right? I think it's great when other people make decisions to create content, but I think that sometimes focus gets lost, right? And instead of doing it to help people, it's a matter of, you comment here and I'm going to comment there. And, you know, once you start growing and, we have lots of videos. So going back, like trying to keep up with the comments and then still getting comments from earlier videos. And I think, want to say I have like 250 videos or something like that. That's a lot at any time. So I don't necessarily have time to sit and write novels on everybody's video. And yeah, so I think that that's the only like weirdness, I guess, in this space. Some of that kind of stuff. The people getting upset or irritated, or this expectation that everyone's supposed to be always commenting, and it's not realistic, you know? I think coming on here and just sharing with the expectation of helping somebody, that's like enough for me. So just kind
I
of rambled
agree.
around there.
No, I would have to say I agree. I think, it's been times I haven't gotten the troll comments, I will say. I think I'm so positive though. I think I've had some trolls and I've changed them, turned their tune around. And so,
Okay.
and then they end up being, really nice. Except for I had the one about diversity, which had nothing to do with the weight loss. He was just, hating on the diversity. And so, yeah, other than that, and that was even on a post, that wasn't a video, that was a post I made. So that's the one that I've had. All the other ones, I feel like it's hard to know people's tone. And I always take that in consideration when I'm reading a message because you don't know the tone behind it. So you will see me using a lot of emojis because I want people to know I got that smile on, to help convey that. But sometimes I've got messages and I'm like, oh, I don't feel like getting up and going to Pilates, or, I don't feel like cooking or meal prepping. I've had those feelings. And then I've gotten a message about how much I inspired somebody, or the people were going to give up until they watched my video, or like people always send me messages like, you're so positive, just keep that positive energy out there. And that motivates me to keep going, keep going. And it motivates me to continue to do what I'm doing, and just to kind of put my best foot forward. It's funny because on this channel I feel like I call myself a diva, but I say in the most professional way. My sorority, we call ourselves the Devastate Diva, so that's where the name came up. I've heard this. I've heard somebody say, they thought I got my name from like another channel, and I'm like, no. One thing about me is I'm original. I try to be. If I copy somebody, it's gonna be so well done, you're not even gonna know. It's gonna look like a whole different thing. That I'm always been a creative type person, which is kind of strange because I'm very like into the numbers of it all. Most time people are very numerical and like think like that in a like a straight line. They're not really creative. So thank God he also made my brain creative. And so I just like to do new and different things. And so you know, that's you know, I love that. And so I had the right profession, right? I was a teacher, and that's where you really got to get creative. And I think the more that time has gone on, you know, to keep these kids interested, you know, I can't do backflips, but I got to do stuff to keep things going. And so, yeah, so that's one of the things I enjoy about just trying to be an inspiration to people, but not necessarily even about the weight loss, just to encourage people to keep going. Because we have one of a top creator in this field that hasn't lost a ton of weight, but he has managed to inspire people, to motivate people, to give people hope. And so, you know, if I don't lose another pound, I'm still going to be on here showing up to do that, because I feel like people kind of need it. And I know, you know, there was a whole conversation about whether you should be on these meds and have therapy or not. You know, I don't ever tell anybody what to do. I think, you know, being a person who's worked with young kids and, you know, kids have trauma, people have trauma. And a lot of times when I see people doing things that aren't putting their best foot forward, I can associate that a lot with probably how they grew up. I can almost see it. I can pinpoint it. You know, when I first started teaching, I was a teacher. As time goes on, you're a guidance counselor, you're a therapist, you are, you know, you're sometimes that kid and that family's only, you know, positive message that they might hear. And, you know, kids go through a lot. You know, these days, it's just so different. Kids go through a lot. So a lot of times I see these, you know, people doing things on YouTube that I would not want my daughter to see or do or hear. And I just think, like, you know, it takes me, I have that grace for them because it takes me back to when, you know, there's probably something that was going on for them as a kid. And so, so anyway, so I, you know, I guess the thing that I don't like about YouTube is, sometimes I see a lack of originality, creativity, and you know, I just think that people got to find themselves, find their way, and make your thing happen, right? Make your thing happen, because it is true. We can have the same script, and I'm going to deliver it different than you. But why use my script? Come up with your own script.
Right.
Or why should I use your script? You come up with your own script. So I would like to see that, because when I'm looking around at channels, it catches my eye and it tickles my fancy to see somebody doing something creative, but in a positive way. And I know it's hard to be positive because that's not always what sells, right? Or I don't know if that's the best word for it, but being positive is not, you know, it's not even in my mind. Like, I'm a positive person, but if I see something negative, I'm tempted to click to. And I think that's just how our brains are wired. And so, you know, for me, I just want my impact on YouTube to be positive. I think I'm crushing it with that positivity. So if you want to be positive, come on here, you know, come to my channel. I think you're very positive. What I like about you, Taisha, is I think you're positive, but you're no nonsense. I love that. I love a no nonsense type of person. Like, let me know, like, where to draw. Would you give me some boundaries? I'm like one of those people. I like boundaries, and I like to do what I'm supposed to do. And sometimes I might go off and do other things, but, you know, I kind of like that. You know, and my dad was a military. I grew up with the military dad too. So, you know, I make my bed every day. You know, I'm stick to a schedule. I'm consistent. You know, I'll never forget the other day, like a couple weeks ago, I should say, somebody came on the live. It was my birthday celebration. And she said, which was such a great compliment, she's like, I have to, you know, give it to you. You are consistent and I see you. And I just thought, isn't that good? Because my friends know, and anybody who knows me know, you can depend on me. So even in these YouTube streets, that's the kind of message I want to put out there. And I have to start saying that more to myself, right? Because I think if something has to be, used to be, with something had to like give, it would be me, right? I do for you rather before I would do for me. Now I'm learning, and I'm telling you, when I turned 50, it got so much better. But now I even proved to myself a couple weeks ago with the family member. Now I'm saying I come first, and I haven't done that in such a long time. Now my daughter, it's so funny. We were on that plane, and the lady that we had to we were told, if the oxygen mask drops, the lady said to me, you put the mask on you first before your daughter. And my daughter, when she walked up, my daughter said, Mom, why would you do that? You wouldn't try to save me? And I said, well, honey, I can't save you if I can't breathe, right? I got to be
Right.
able to breathe. And she said, well, I could not breathe while you're getting the mask on. I said, I don't think God's going to do that to us. I said, I think God is telling, put this lady to tell us that I got to take care of myself first so I can take care of you. And that resonated with me. Because isn't that like what we need to do as women even more?
Absolutely.
Take care of
Absolutely.
ourselves. So let me change the subject because I don't want to do the ugly Oprah cry on this show.
No, don't you dare. We have a super chat.
Yes. Okay. Let's see. Where's our
Don't you
super
start crying.
chat? Wait, I gotta scroll. I'm scrolling. Okay, wait, it's coming. Bellflower, hello. She says, I appreciate you both and what you bring to the community individual. I pray that you and those who subscribe to you understand that you are human and you don't owe us anything. If you fail, that's your business. You're not God. Oh, thank you for that. Thank you for that. And, I give it to, thank you so much for that. Let's give her a thank you, a formal thank you.
Yes.
That I appreciate you saying that because it is pressure. Sometimes I see some of the content creators that are starting out and I just think like, geez, Louise, they must feel so much pressure to perform, like to drop every week, because a lot of these videos are about how you're losing weight week to week, right? Because I don't know, that's what we started out doing. And it's just kind of like a thing that we do. And how much pressure is that if you show up and haven't you seen some people that disappear, Taisha, when they're not losing?
Yep.
And that is, if you're one of those people that are watching or listening and you did that, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry to say, but I don't want to do that. I want to show up whether I lose or not. And it's tough. Trust me, it is tough because I don't want to, right? I was just like, geez Louise, I got that DEXA scan. I was just thinking like, what did I get myself into? What if this DEXA scan is terrible? And what I kept thinking was, I have room to improve. So, and now I get another DEXA scan. What if I think my results went down? Well, guess what? I'm just going to report that. And then I'm going to be calling Taisha like, what am I going to do, girl? What am I going to do? But I think that, this is, that's why this medication is not a magic tool because it still is a struggle, right? And, it still is a struggle to, when you have those social situations, when you have, the emotional thing. Like I found myself, when I had some family issues, when you had little Marshy, that emotional part of it kicks in and that came out of nowhere. I didn't even think that, of course, if I didn't have the medication, I probably would have, ordered a large pizza and ate it or something. But I still felt like I thought about it, right? I thought more about food than I normally would think about it.
Yeah.
And so that emotional piece is still there and things are going to happen. And I just think that this is where the community comes in. This is where the support kicks in that we need. So if you're a new content creator out there, I would definitely show up even if you're not on point.
And it's because it's real, right? How many people do we see on a regular basis that are struggling? And I know my content wasn't necessarily appealing to a certain group, right? Because they're thinking like, oh, it's effortless. No, there were 5 different times or 6 different times throughout my journey where my weight went up, right? During the weight loss process, that's part of the process. So that's why we have to focus on more than that, because when you get to maintenance or you get closer to your goal, you need more going on. But when you're actively in it, share that because someone else is feeling the same way and they can see you struggling and how you come through. Don't just show up after you've gone through the struggle. Show up during it. Like if you're going to create content to share your journey, share all of it, right? Because that's
Now,
what's helpful, not just the wins, whatever you're going through that you're comfortable with sharing, right? But if you
sure,
just
yeah.
didn't lose weight, that's not a reason to not show up. You can make a short video, guys. I'm feeling stressed out. I didn't lose anything this week. We'll see what happens. This is what I did. This is what I can do. Like, show up anyway. Show up anyway. People want to see real stories, the whole journey.
I agree. I agree. Davina, now we get some content creation stuff, and people, I was skimming that chat, like, geez, Louise, you guys here, be honest with us. Let us know what's
I
really
love
going on.
it.
Davina says the lack of authenticity is mind-boggling on YouTube. People chase trends. I get it, but it's everywhere. So, when you say trends, like, what are you talking about trends? And are you, is this everywhere or this GLP-1 weight loss genre? Dee, I'm always mentioning your Friday night lives. I've never seen anyone bring the party to a conversation and celebration like you do. And this community is the greatest. Well, thank you for
For
that. And
sure.
we love you. We
For
love you.
sure.
Thank you. Thank you for, you stay up till 1 a.m.
I
in the
know.
UK to come to these lives. I love it. Thank you for that. Beverly says, Joe, I agree with you, and I think Darian would be as good as a content creator. His comments are so informative. He's funny. He could have Mel as his sidekick. I love that. I love that. Well, I'm just going to volunteer to be your agent, and whenever you get ready, just let me know. Let me know. Uh, he said the savage Oprah said that. Surround yourself
Yes.
with friends who don't have an ounce of jealousy of you and more happy for you than you are for yourself.
That right there. That
Um,
right there. Not an ounce of jealousy. I
can
love
we
that,
just be
Darian.
honest and say it's so hard with women to do that? I
I
mean,
don't
can
know
we be
why.
honest and say
Well,
it?
well, we can't
Why?
say it's not all women,
Yes, that's true. That's
but it
true.
does tend to happen a lot in those spaces, and I don't know why. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's the silent competition that I don't understand, why we can't just all get along like for real, not the fake stuff, not the over the top or the niceties, like truly being happy for someone else, seeing the next person winning, right? That it makes me feel good to see other people winning. So I don't know. I don't have that I don't have a jealous heart. So maybe some people are just wired that way.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know, but it's disheartening, but at the same time, we can't focus on that. We just can't focus on that. Just,
And I
spread
will say,
positivity, right?
yes, and I will say, Taisha, you and 2.0 Mommy, I'm telling you, you ladies are keeping me motivated. And, they watch and say, oh my gosh, you're up to this many subscribers. You're up to that many subscribers. We want to see you, just do this and do that. And we see so much potential in you. And I think that's so cool because, you could be off, hating on the side instead of
Right.
encouraging me and just wishing me the best. And I think a lot of times you don't see that. And and I've been doing the same for you, just rooting you on and supporting you. And I would like to see more of people in our community, the content creators, doing that. But sometimes, like I say, it's hard to bring people together because everybody's not ready for that. And
Yeah.
I think that's the struggle. And
Yeah.
I mean, well, time will tell if it changes. But women we've always gotten that rep, and I know, men can disagree and keep it moving. And I'm going to say this too. One of the things that I don't understand when it comes to women in relationships is women take so much from a man. Now, mind you, I can't do for you what he can do for you. I get that. All right. But women will take all kind of cheating and disrespect and all kind of things, and then their friend doesn't call them back within 24 hours, or the friend didn't greet you the way you wanted to be greeted, or the friend didn't watch your video, and now you're upset, and now
Right.
you don't want to talk to them, or now you got an attitude. And it's like, give me that same grace that you're giving that man. I don't understand it. I mean, and I'm not even talking about YouTube. I'm just talking about,
In
I've
life.
always noticed this in life, that women always are that way. And I think you're right about the silent competition of it all. And so
Yeah.
yeah, that just kind of is a thing that I kind of was hoping to change on YouTube. And maybe I still will.
I
Who
I
knows?
have faith. If anyone can do it, you can do it.
Yeah, maybe I still will. All right. Michelle said most people chat GPT for content. Therefore, some information looks and sounds the same. I noticed it a lot along with me checking chat for questions. Great video today. Well, thank you. So when you see a content creator and you feel like it's what is it called? Chat GTPT.
Chat GPT.
I always want to say the T first. Chat
You
GPT.
always call it TP. We know you don't use it, do you?
Oh my gosh. Well, I do use Chat GTP or PT sometimes, but I
PT.
add my own spin to things.
Yeah.
It's a quick way. I like Google though. I sometimes I'm talking to Mel and I'm like, I'm just gonna Google it. She's like Chat GTP or whatever, PT it, and I Google it. I think any resource is great. I think again that goes back to my comment I was making about being creative. I think you got to put your own spin on things and be creative. And I will say as an educator and people have said, oh my gosh, you're so smart. Well, can't spit off a lot of facts. I mean, Mayor Mindy will tell you I'm not pronouncing these fancy medical words correctly, but what I am is I'm resourceful and I look things up, and that's what an education-based person will do. That's what a smart, intelligent person will do. They're resourceful. They know how to find information, and I think that goes back to Michelle, what you're saying. People just kind of have to be creative and put your own spin on things. And make it look so different that you can't even remember, like, oh, that was an idea from Simply Taisha, or oh, that was an idea from Downsizing Diva. And I think that's why a lot of the content kind of looks the same, because people see something and they think, oh, that's great, it works for her, and they don't put their own spin on it enough. I think that's kind of probably what happens.
And another thing specifically in this space, we are all going to have a lot of the same things, right? When you're going through a weight loss journey, whether you're using a GLP-1 medication or not, we're going to have milestones. We're going to have plateaus. We're going to have stalls. Like, all of these things are normal parts of the process. So when we're sharing it, some of that's going to be the same, right? It seems like there's a theme right now of stepping outside of a comfort zone. Like, I know that that's something that I realized I needed to do early July. So that has kind of been what I'm settling into. But there are other people that are also kind of getting into that point where they're feeling blah. So we're going through some of these phases. So you're going to see a lot of content that overlaps, although it shouldn't be like verbatim, right? Because we're all having our own experiences. So anyway, that's why some of that stuff could seem similar, but then some of it's just, just copying. So, and that's okay too. I look at it like if I've done something and I see someone else do it, it's like oh, I motivated them or I inspired them, right? It's not like, oh, why did this person do it's not like we're the first people to be on this medication and share our journeys, but they're not exactly the same. So I
Now, I
love it.
mentioned before in one of my lives, this was a while back, but it does bother me when you get the person. This was like a male content creator that said people are copying. Yeah, he doesn't like copying. People are copying what he was doing, and then he started copying. So if you're going to accuse people of copying, you don't copy. I just think that doesn't jive with me, because I think you gotta just to have your own creator. That's what, isn't it called a content creator? Creator, be creative.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a content copy, but a content creator.
Yeah. So I like that. I like that. So Sin says, have you all let your friends and family and coworkers know you're content creators?
My family knows. I don't shove videos out to them though. Like, I would rather not, because a lot of them are not, I don't think they would really be interested, right? Like, my husband is super supportive. He watches everything. Like, I tell him, like, babe, you don't have to watch it. And then he'll throw stuff back at me. But he watches my stuff. I think my mom here and there will watch things. I don't think that I have friends that really watch the stuff. So I'm not looking to them, if that makes sense. Like, they know I do it. I'll share stuff on Facebook here and there, like my personal Facebook, but I don't really rely on them to watch it. So they know no one is negative about it, which is pretty cool. They're supportive.
We have a super chat. It says, thank you both for sharing your knowledge and journey with us. Great collaboration. Thank
Thank
you. That's
you.
so sweet. Thank you. All right, let's give MVP.
Do your
Much for
friends
that.
and family know, Dee?
Well, so so some of them. So some of
Okay.
my friends and family know. Like I told some of them when I was going live, my first time going live, I'm like, I got to tell my friends I'm in the group chat with four. It's four of them. I'm the fifth one because I was thinking five people are in the chat, but I'm the fifth one. And I was like, just in case it be just me and them on there. And so I'm like, was looking back today. I think my first live was in September that I did of 2024. And I had said, I'm going to go live when I either get my first 50 subscribers or I lose 50 pounds. And the first 50 subscribers came. And of course, they came and it was people in there. So they didn't comment. They sometimes are on the lives, they don't comment. I could tell some of them are watching. But so I've told some of my coworkers, I think a lot of them know, but like in my district, where I'm kind of a known person in my district, I haven't told very many people at all. And then my family, some of my family know, some of them don't. Some of my friends still don't know. So, and I remember I told you, Taisha, I said, if I don't get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of March, I'm going to tell people, right? Because then I should at least have 200 or 300 folks subscribing. And I didn't need to do that. So then I never told. I just kind of kept it. And then, one of the reasons why I haven't is because this is another thing that's kind of like a pet peeve of mine is the expectation that people have to watch your videos. I think I don't want to,
Right.
just like we don't put that pressure on our family, I don't think we should be putting that on each other as other content creators at all.
I agree.
And I feel like that pressure is kind of out there, like I'm supporting you, so you got to support me.
Yeah.
And I'll get around to videos now that I'm, you guys know I'm live 3 days a week. I have an 8-year-old and my full-time job is starting back. And I also produce at least one, sometimes two videos on top of the lives. And somebody was saying, well, isn't it easy to be live? And it is for some people who are just going on there, just chatting it up. But I go on there with data. I research things.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it interactive. So I have to prepare for those lives. And I mean, and then they're different. So on Sunday is probably the least preparing I'm doing. But Wednesday and Friday, all the lives are different. They don't all have the same tone. I don't even think the audience is the same for each of those lives. So it's work for me. It's not like I'm just showing up and talking. And I say to myself sometimes, why aren't I? It would make my life more easy. But yeah, and I don't expect them to. So the content
Yeah.
creators, I said a couple weeks ago, maybe a month at this point now, is I want to free you up, to not feel like you have to be in people's, lives. Yeah, it's great to go on there and see, oh, Simply
Yeah.
Taisha commented or oh, Downsizing Diva or anybody else commented on your lives, but or your not lives, but your videos. But really, the subscribers are the people you're trying to reach. Those
Yeah.
are the people that really want and need our support. And so I say those people first. So my family they're not doing this. So they don't want and need my support. So I don't expect them to watch. So I think just like we give our family grace, we got to give everybody else grace too. And
And I want to mention that too. And this is for anybody. This is for, viewers, but also other creators. Please do not feel any obligation to comment on all of my stuff. Like I don't expect that. I don't expect that. Um, it's nice when people do, but I need you to know, don't feel that. Don't feel like you got to make a comment for me to watch your video. I'm going to watch a video regardless if a person comments or not. There's no need to do that. And I just want you to know there should not be this pressure cuz I'm not going to be able to do it every time. A lot of times when I'm busy, I'm throwing a video on and I'm watching it. And I'll like it, I don't always get to comment. And then usually when I comment, it's it's not just, "Oh, hey," you know what I'm saying? So I just I'm trying to fall back from that because then you find yourself overextended. And I don't only watch GLP-1 content. I watch lots of stuff, tech stuff, just a lot of things. So just know that there's no tit for tat. You know, if you never comment on a video, it's not going to stop me from watching your stuff. Okay. Let's not focus on that. Let's not focus on that.
Yeah, and and that's another thing too. I know, and I'm just gonna say, I know some people kind of get upset with me because I wasn't commenting on their videos, but I was watching. YouTube is not gonna say Downsizing Diva was watching
Right.
you. Because, everybody who kind of knows me knows I have a drive to work. It's a good 45 minutes on a snowy day here. It could take me an hour, over an hour. I could get a lot of videos in, watch, if they're under 20 minutes, on the way home and on the way back. And so that's, unless I'm talking on the phone or, really listening to an audio book or something, that's what I'm doing. I am watching, not watching because I'm driving, but I'm listening to the videos. And so you don't know if I'm watching. So it's like, how dare you get upset when you don't even know if I'm watching or not? And like I say, we know comments are engagement. I get that, but that is what the subscribers are for. Because just think of how many content creators can we actually name off the top of our heads and come up with 20 people. So really, if you're thinking about it, that's like maybe 20 people aren't commenting, but you should have 20 people that are, if everybody's commenting, and we all don't
Right.
really know each other like that. So I just think, when you're a smaller content creator, it's easier to do that. Because when I was a smaller content creator and didn't have so many comments, I was everywhere. I was all up in these people's, chats and this and that. And it's not like you're so big now you don't want to do it. It's just like you can't do it. You don't have the time. I still have comments from my video from Friday that I still have to respond to. And then when I respond to them, then it's the next morning you got more. So the more and then people are, find your channel and then they go back and watch your older videos and then you got to comment on those. And then this is another thing. Sometimes I'll go into my YouTube studio on the desktop. It's a little different than that app.
Yes.
And I see all these comments that were held that I didn't even respond to, that I didn't know I didn't respond to because they were held by YouTube. So it's just a lot to being a content creator. And I just think we have to give each other grace. And I know it was a thing when I started where people were saying like, oh, if you don't support me, I don't support you. Well, guess what? I'm supporting you whether you're supporting me or not. I'm just, that's the kind of girl I am.
Right.
I'm going to support, and, I might not show up in the chat or the lives, but I'm watching. And that's how I'm supporting. Because guess what? You're getting paid if you're a monetized, you're getting paid based on the views. So I am helping. And a lot of times when I'm watching videos, I have it on my phone, I have it on my TV, I have it on my iPad. So 3 of those views are just from Downsizing Diva. And meanwhile, you don't even know I'm watching because you just are going by the comments. So stop worrying about that. Just worry about what you're doing. Yeah, I just worry about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. I really don't worry about what other folks are doing. And I love that about myself. I'm going to give myself some confetti. How about that?
I'm not in a lot of the lives. I'm not in a lot of the lives because I like structure. So, and it's not anything personal. If it's not a structured live, like if it's just somebody like just chilling and talking, I'm probably not going to be there long. And that's not, again, it's not a dig against anyone else. We only have so many hours in the day. And for me to just sit and watch somebody just rambling on for hours, I just can't do it. So my attention span is a little short when it comes to stuff like that, and I like structure. So if you're somebody that has those, long lives, if I pop in and say hi, don't hold it against me. I don't think I'm better than you. There's only so many hours in a day, and so I need structure. I like structure.
Somebody said, who is that lady?
What lady?
Carby Queens. Is it Carrie B. Queen says, who is that lady? I don't know what she's talking about, but I just thought that was funny. All right, Joe says, I'm loving being a content creator, but people keep asking me when I'm going to build my channel. Should that be my priority? I'm worried about losing my love for it if I set my channel goal.
Joe, your channel is adorable. Your personality, like, oh my gosh, the little animations with the little, what is it, like crochet? just
Yeah.
don't listen to other people. If you I can keep doing this because I don't put that stress on myself, right? Like I'm doing the daily dose videos daily because I enjoy that. Like that has nothing. If you look at the views on those guys, those views are so low. So it's not this thing that I'm doing because I'm trying to grow my channel. No, I'm doing it because I love it, because I know that I want to help people. I know the mental part of this. I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I'm not a Dr. Bobby, but I was a mental health tech in the army, and I learned a lot, right? And then years of going to therapy and those things. So sharing that and then still consuming content that has, that mindset vibe, to me that's important. I think that's the most important part of the journey. So do what you want to do, Joe. Don't listen to that. Like if I go in and look at the analytics, it's heartbreaking. So I stay out of there because I don't want to get caught up in that. If a video takes off, cool. Um, I noticed that the more views it gets when it gets out there, the ones that are kind of viral, that's where the trolls come in, you know? And sometimes they come with the shorter ones too, but you got to do this in the way that you like. I feel like I've not seen anybody whose structure is like yours, and you don't want to take the joy and fun out of it, because you can tell, guys, you can tell when somebody's coming up there and they're doing it just to do it. You can tell. You can tell. It's just the whole vibe, right? They're just putting out stuff because they want to get views, and a lot of it'll be the clickbaity stuff. And I'm not knocking them, but this is something I enjoy. And if I make it like work, I won't enjoy it anymore. So I would say, Joe, keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, and Miss V said that totally makes sense. If it becomes a job, I bet that would be tough.
Yeah.
And I think, one of the things I think that has helped me now, it's people, and it's nothing wrong with that. I want to start off
Nope.
by saying that people who come into this saying, I want to be monetized, I want to make money, I'm here to make money. I think that's fine because you're giving
Yeah.
your time. You're trading your time, and a lot of us are trading it for not very much money at all. And so I think that that's okay if you come into it with that. For me, I came into it thinking I'm just going to document my journey. I wasn't even, visual. I was only audio. I was scared to even show my face. And it's just so funny to me when people say, "You are so pretty. Why were you afraid to show your face?" It has nothing to do with how I looked, right? It was the whole me not wanting to be seen and barely wanting
Yeah.
to be heard. But I knew I wanted to document my journey. So I got an inspiration from somebody to step out of my comfort zone and show my face on camera. And then it's just been no stopping me since
Now you're all up
that
in the
time.
camera.
Yes, but if I was doing it just to try to get monetized and to get money, I don't think I would still be doing it because I'd be burnt out. I'd be
Yeah.
tired. The reason why, sometimes I've talked to some people who talked to me right before the live, and they were like, "You sounded so tired. You got on that live, and you just got energized." And that's because it brings me joy. I love greeting people. I love shouting people out. I just love all of that, right? I just love all of that. So that, it kind of perks me up even when I'm, not as perky. And so I think you got to just kind of be doing it for the right reasons. If you're doing it to be monetized, that's fine too. Because
That's
like
okay
I say,
too.
you are putting your time into it. So I just think you got to prioritize, Joe. And I'm going to tell you, like Taisha said, one thing I love about your channel is it's different. I don't feel like I'm going to your channel and you're doing things that everybody else is doing. It's creative. And
Yeah.
when you have a creative mind, that doesn't always take off, right? Because everybody doesn't get that. So I would stay true to that.
And it's
Um,
positive. And it's positive.
yeah, it's
I
positive. And it's
love that.
funny. I think it's funny too. I
Yes.
think you have like a way about yourself that,
Quirky.
yeah, very endearing. So
Yeah.
I would just stick with that. I love that. I love that. Let's see, anything else about the content creators? And then we'll go to the questions. I was seeing some questions or comments about being a slow responder. Somebody talking about the art of being unbothered. Life is
Hey.
so peaceful when you're unbothered by those who contribute nothing to
Yes.
your life. I truly feel sorry for people who have hate in their heart.
Davina,
I
yes.
know. Or not
Yes.
even hate, but just like kind of, how you have people who want to keep stuff going. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like that. Like people who want to keep stuff going. And I just think, you're gonna see me out here, out and about. And if I'm not moving and grooving with people, it's because something ain't right. But you're going to see me out moving and grooving with people because I just like people. I like diversity of people. I like all people, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what color you are. I just love people. I love interacting with people. I can find something in common with everybody. It's not very many people. I always say this is so true. Now, is it people who I'm putting in time out and don't necessarily need to hang out with? Yes, but it's not really a lot of people I could say I don't like. I mean, I could find something great about everybody that I interact with. Do I want to hang out with them? Maybe not. And so, it's just, it is what it is.
That's
But I
life.
think, yeah, it is. And I think, we just gotta, we just gotta stay positive out here. But yeah, and letting somebody steal your peace is a thing. And people do, you can get hot and bothered. We all do, right? I would love to sit up here and say, nothing's ever bothered me. Girl, I just go about my way. No, things have annoyed me, things have upset me. And I say to myself, like, why me? I'm so nice to folks. Why me? But I think that's, a lot of times people see you as being a nice person and they take that as like being weak. And then they
Yeah.
think that they can you know, pounce on it. But I have to let them know. Now I remember Taisha said to me one day, Taisha said to me, so first you gave him the Downsizing Diva and then you gave him the Shay. And really, no, it's the same person. It's just that, this is a space. I consider this like to me, this is like not a job, but I'm going to be professional and all of that. Because like I say, my daughter is going to be watching this one day. I'm not going to be on here acting a fool on YouTube. I just won't. So if anybody see me, stop me, like, please stop me. Because, I think about it as like my daughter has to watch this one day, and so, but while I still am myself though, I just, I just want to be kind. I just want to put that kind foot forward, and hopefully I get that back. And if somebody is, irritate me or annoying me, I'm just gonna just let them go. That's how I'm gonna get my peace. And I will tell you guys, this is how peaceful my life can be. Is I've had the same number for 32 years, the same number. I've never needed to change my number. So people contact me. I have a friend now, I was telling this story last week, who contacted me, and I thought we had decided we weren't going to talk, and she contacted me and I have not, contacted her. And at first I was feeling kind of guilty because I thought, geez, Louise, like this lady has reached out to me. But then I said, you know what? I made the decision that I was done and I'm going to stay done. And a lot of times as women, and maybe men too, we don't always make a decision and stick to it. We give people chance after chance. And I don't want to keep doing that. Like, I just want to, I just want to kind of have peace. Like Davina said, that was a good way to put it, having peace.
Yeah.
Anybody else? You want to, anything else? Any other content creator questions? And then we can talk about the slow and steady, and then we can call it a night. That's so funny. Michelle, that comment about the GPT, is that it? GPT. It's funny. People are saying Darian would be hilarious.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
Mel made a comment. Let me see, Mel. I saw you made a comment about what annoys you. We want to go to that because you're such the content creator supporter. Do you see that comment she made? It starts off saying something that annoys her.
Let me see. Who was it?
It was Mel to the B.
Okay, let me see. Oh, goodness. It's hard to filter through these. And guys, bear with us.
Mel, can you put? I saw it, and I think she's saying true, 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 true. Oh, she says thank you. Mel, I think I missed you put something that it was, I think it was before Bellflower's super chat.
Actually, my other annoyance is creators getting PO'd and not
What
wanting you
time
to
is
ask.
that? What's the timestamp?
Oh, 8:35.
8:35. Wait, now
Mhm.
it's not sure. Oh, okay, 8:35. Okay. Okay. Oh, see, that helps because it's not showing me. She had one before that too. If you could see if you could find that one.
Oh, 8:32. The inaccurate
Wait.
information. 8:32.
Okay, I'm coming down. Yeah, it was around, let's see, 8:32.
There was
Okay.
2 annoyances.
2 annoyances. I'm like, what annoys the male to the bee? Okay, 8:32. I'm coming, male. I gotta find it. Okay, my big annoyance as a subscriber is creators giving inaccurate information. Really? Jeez Louise. About
And
what though?
And I wanna say, if I say something in a video and it's off or I've misspoken, put it in the comments. But now be respectful, but I'm not above reproach. I don't get upset with I'm a human and I'm gonna make mistakes. I try not to give things that are supposed to be factual where I'm just making it up, right? But if I make a mistake on something, say it. Let me know. Let me know.
I agree. You guys know how I feel about that. If I make a mistake, please correct me because I don't want to give out wrong information, inaccurate information. Bellflower says, which is why it's easy to connect with your people. I learned this in school. Effortless connections doesn't come with a lot of mess and fluff. So my circle stayed small because of it. I agree 100%. I love that. Yes. All right. So Mel says, actually, my other annoyance is creators getting PO'd and not wanting to ask questions or engage in a healthy debate. We're subscribers, not yes men or yes women.
Exactly.
Wow. Wow, wow. So you've had actually people get annoyed when you challenge something. Wow, okay, all right. Well, yeah, let me know if I do that because I don't, I don't mind learning. I actually learning. I think I love to learn. I congratulate everyone, men and women. God is love. That's the way. Happy yes. That's Taisha. Happy yes, Taisha. Very good. I love that. Downsizing Diva, 1,000% meaningless and unnecessary expectations. Everyone is simply not compatible to everyone. Yes, and you know what? Unfortunately, that's true. That is true.
It is. And I know that I'm not for everybody, and that's okay. I've been told what recently that I'm not energetic enough. I need to be more peppy. It just, and it's okay. There's a plethora of creators. And I don't have this attitude like, well, whatever, go wherever you want. It's more of, I'm not going to be for everybody. That's okay. We have so many different, like, I love Dee Dee's content. I'm not going to start naming people. There are lots of people that I like to watch for different reasons. So you just gotta find your people. They're out there. What is there? 8 billion people a month on watching YouTube. That's a
Yeah,
lot of
that's what I
people.
say. It's a billion people watching YouTube. Find your people. So
That's
nobody,
it.
I know people say, "Oh, Downsizing Diva, her lives are fun. She's this, she's that." You do
They
your
are.
own thing. If that's not you, you be you. If you're a Zen, be Zen. If you're a friend, be a friend. If you're cool, be cool. If if you sit there and just look during your live, sit there and just look. Because if you got somebody on there, it's people on there that like you and that have that connection. And I think that that's where, it's that comparison again, but not with weight loss, it's with other things. And I think that's what gets us in trouble is trying to be like other folks. And, we don't want to do that. No,
Yeah,
no, no, we're
it's
not
not
doing that.
natural.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
not.
natural, and it doesn't come off that way.
Okay, she says, do we realize frequency? This is why MJ will write music before Prince put it out because that's how things travel in frequency. So it's expected. It's funny that you say that because sometimes I say stuff, even to you simply, Taisha, I have said stuff and you've got it and created it before I could even get it out. And I'm like, I'm going to stop saying stuff because Taisha knows when she talks to me, I am the queen of ideas or thoughts. I have lots of thoughts all the time in my head. And sometimes I'm like, I'm not going to say it because, people, not just her, but people will beat me to it because I don't move that fast. Like I'm not that fast I'm good with technology, but I'm one of those meticulous kind of people, and which is not good when you're trying to crank stuff out. So sometimes I'm like, oh gosh, I'm just not going to say anything because if I intend to do it, somebody's going to beat me too.
And I like the surprises too. Like, I don't feel like you need to tell me everything anyway. Because if we happen to come up with something at the same time, if none of us have talked about it, neither is going to be like, oh man, she beat me, right? So I like the surprises. I don't know, I like
Yes.
finding out things when everybody else finds out.
Yeah, and that's how I operate. I'm just kind of like, people who talk to me behind the scenes, I'm kind of like, I love surprises. I don't want you to tell me if you saw a movie. Mel is still trying to get me to watch
Sinners.
Sinners. And she wants to, it's so many times she's wanted to talk about it. I'm like, Mel, I don't want to know. Don't tell me. My daughter is, she's another one. She wants to tell me everything that happened. I'm like, I don't want to know. I love a surprise. And I realize everybody's not like that, but people have learned messing around with me that I'm, even if you're my BFF, I'm not going to tell you until it comes out, unless unless it's something you need to know. But yeah, I just like the idea, and it's nothing like sinister about it. It actually, if you read the Bible, silence is an important thing. Silence is an important thing that happens in that Bible, and people will tell you, like smart people that have built businesses and and empires, they will tell you, don't talk as much, do a lot of listening. And sometimes I can get in that talk mode, even though I think I talk a lot because I don't really talk. You know what I'm saying? I like to be alone. So when I finally get around people, I hate the silence of it all. It's so odd. We are all strange beings on this earth. So I have that dynamic going on where I don't really like to be chatty, but when I start, I'm on the go. So yeah, so I'm glad you accept that about me, because I know some people would be like, oh, she doesn't want to tell us what she's doing. Oh, she doesn't want to do this and that. And that's not how I even operate in my real life. I just I keep things to my heart, and I like the element of surprise.
And then you can change your mind, right?
Well,
If
the
you put
real
it out
reason I
there.
do that is because, I'll say, oh, this is happening, and then it doesn't happen. It drives me insane. Or I'll say, I'm doing such and such, or I got this schedule, and if I don't do it at that time, nobody knows but me, right? But if I tell a bunch of folks, now people are saying, well, Dee Dee, I thought you were doing this. I thought you were doing that. Shay, I thought you were going here. So I just learned early on to keep it to myself. And when I read about how important silence was, even in the Bible, that convinced me that everything doesn't have to be spoken. And so I want people to, I'm a spiritual person. I believe in God. I love God. I try to really operate that way. And I want people to say, yeah, Downsizing Diva, we can believe she loves God. I want you to be able to see it by how I operate. I don't want it to just be something I say. And that's another thing I see on YouTube a lot. People are playing around with God and the Bible, and they're not really showing that. Like sometimes their actions, I'm like, really? I don't know about that. But anyway, that's a topic for another day. All right, we have
Super chat.
Then I want to go and find those two or three comments I saw about the weight loss. We want to celebrate those people, and then we're out of here.
Yeah.
Doris, thank you. Where is Doris? Let me find that super chat. Thank you so much. She says, thank you both, Dynamic Diva Duo. I love that. I love that. I appreciate you. We appreciate you. We thank you. What you can do, though, for us to support us is subscribe to our channels, Downsizing Diva, subscribe to Simply Taisha, like the video. I haven't seen. At some point, I saw we had 60-something folks. I hope we have 60-something likes. So that's a way to support. And then, I'm going to be live tomorrow. Sunday is my weekly weigh-in. So it's a doozy. So be there or be square at 2 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to be talking about my weight loss. So let's do some celebrations, and then we're out of here. Who are we celebrating? If you find somebody, give me the time stamp, and let's go.
I see Darian with the Hamilton reference.
What time stamp is that?
9:07.
And what did he say, Darian? 9:07.
Talk less, smile more.
Talk less, smile more. I love that. Oh, she's talking about, you guys are talking about my chat GTP. Or is it GPT? See, geez, Louise. It wouldn't be me if I didn't get those letters. And I love it because it makes Mel want to correct me. Mel is going to have to correct me. I love it. Let's see.
Oh, I see a question we missed.
Okay, what is it?
How have you both experienced feeling differently from week to week? Oh, I'm sorry. It's at 7:54. And it's from Hey Miss V, actually.
Hey Miss V, 7:54. Let's see. You guys, I wish you could see how these comments work.
Yeah.
They're kind of, Taisha is, you probably have two screens up. Taisha, the super tech lady, has two screens, and I'm hanging in there with my one.
But I'm
Okay.
over, I have the comments over here, and I don't have StreamYard, so it wouldn't let me, like, I didn't want to get kicked out. It was asking me to like authorize it and stuff, so I can't see the StreamYard comments.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So just one
Hmm.
today.
Okay, so how have you both experienced feeling differently from week to week, even on your dose? I have, even though I know meds still working, sometimes doesn't always stop the snacking. Hmm.
I haven't experienced feeling differently as of yet, and I say that because I'm aware that there could come a time where I need to bump up or something. I'm open to that, but so far I haven't had that yet.
Well, I
I don't
have
know for
had
you.
it. I have had that, Miss V, and I will say, you know what I think happens? I think once you start the snacking, it can kind of keep going. I don't, my latest video, I talk about this. A little snack here, like I'll have a little bit of my daughter's chips or a little bit of her snack or this or that. I'm preparing stuff and I'm just like taking one chip here, one chip there. That stuff adds up, and I think it's just I kind of got to not go down that path at all. I know, I think people who are really successful don't probably do a lot of snacking, and I see why. Because snacking, it takes you down that rabbit hole of, more snacks. And it's just like, have you ever heard of like wanting to eat sugar and something sugary, and it's like you keep wanting it. And when you're a type 2 diabetic, you got a lot of blood sugar built up in your blood to begin with, so you're going to have that. And then when you get thirsty, it's going to make you want to have that sugar. So when I had that cake, that fine cake that was gifted to me for my birthday, that baby was waiting for me when I came back even. I said, geez, Louise, but I think that cake took me down the rabbit hole of, wanting to eat the snacks. And, so I went from the protein snacks to nibbling on that cake. So, yeah, so I just kind of have to do a birthday reset. I talk about that. But, yeah, I have the snacking. I think we just have to have, like, things out of sight. Like, you got to be prepared, right? You got to not have it there. So that cake is gone. I'm not buying another cake until another birthday comes. I don't even need to have another cake. Um, and my daughter's snacks, I said, I'm going to buy her only the snacks she likes. There's some snacks she likes that I don't even like. Before, when I first started my journey, I wouldn't even be tempted to even want to eat it or anything like that. And sometimes I'm not, but here recently, and I think it's because I have a lot of family emotional kind of stuff going on. I really do think it's that. It's like, and so I think I have that underlining need to like want to do it, but then I don't want to eat, right?
It's
You
a
know what I'm saying?
coping. It's
Like,
like a
kind
form
of
of coping, a coping
like, yeah.
mechanism. Like a lot of us were eating our feelings. So if that's what you're used to, we weren't necessarily eating because we were hungry, right? A lot of times it brought us a form of comfort. So when that's your go-to and you take that away, when you start experiencing those heavy emotions, you're going to naturally want to gravitate towards that.
Or it can even
Lighten
be
up that
boredom
reward center.
snacking. The
Yeah.
boredom snacking too can be a thing. And then I just think you got to just prep your house with like cucumbers and celery and, things that are high nutrition, low, low calories, high fiber, right?
Yeah.
Or, some protein snacks, I'm not one of those people that would eat like those meat sticks, but I know people like those. I would choose a cheese stick if I had to choose something like that. People say, oh, I snack on eggs. I'm sorry, that's just not my thing to do.
Right.
I'm not an egg lover, but it's a good protein snack if that's what you like. So, but are we really craving those? I don't hear people saying, yeah, I'm craving an egg, a boiled egg. Most people, the things they're craving are things we, shouldn't have on our list of things to eat. And so what has helped me along the way, Miss V, is making that a treat on a Sunday. And so because I've been on this like birthday, eating around the world, I should say, it lasted 2.5 weeks here. I kind of got away from that. So I need to go back to, if I'm going to have an indulgence at all, it needs to be like in a controlled way, one time, not a whole day, but just like that one thing. And that's what I was doing when I was, when I'm being really successful. So that's what I kind of need to go back to. So, we know what to do. It's just a matter of doing it. And like
Yeah.
Taisha always says, not just saying it, but setting up systems, right? So that you have things in place. Because it's easy to say, yo, I know I should be doing A, B, and C. But
Right.
if somebody were to come to my house and evaluate, am I making A, B, and C able to happen based on, how I have what's in my refrigerator, what's in my cupboard, do I have meals prepped? All those things play into your system and your habits. And so we just got to kind of work on that, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else? Somebody was talking about their weight loss. Did you catch that one?
Let me
We want
see.
to celebrate them.
Uh,
Oh,
bear with me.
Debbie's lost so much weight. She says, I'm going through the I'm so tired phase. I don't know if it's the meds or not. Really having to push these days. Wow. Okay. Okay.
I did a daily dose video about that today, Debbie, actually. And I think I titled it, I Know You're Tired. You may want to check that out and just know. And some of these things I say, I know that they're not necessarily just going to help you, but if you know that something is normal, right? Like, okay, this is something that everybody experiences or most people experience, then you can get through it, right? If you are the only one struggling with something, you start to feel like, well, gosh, maybe something's wrong with me. And I think that's a great part of community, right? We're seeing, okay, well, so and so is struggling with this. This is what they did. Oh, this person also struggled with it. This is what they did. And we got to find out what's going to work for us. But what I think is important for us to know is this is normal. This is a normal part of the process. And we're going to get through this too. This really is where people give up, right? Think about your past experiences with weight loss or whatever, or even trying to learn something new. When you get to that part where it's difficult or you're not necessarily seeing the wins, you're just like, what am I doing this for? Like, I'm over it. But that's where you got to keep going because there's going to be that breakthrough on the other side for sure.
Yeah, that tired phase, or I think you called it feeling blah,
Yeah.
about things, or
Lost my
getting
spark.
in the rut of a routine, like doing the same thing over and
Yes.
over. A lot of times people need that change. So I say maybe change it up, change up your routine. I know you're going to the gym. Start tracking maybe what you're eating and how it's making you feel for just a couple days, and just
Yeah.
kind of pinpoint what you're doing, Deb, so that you can get back on track, because gosh, you've come so far. Like, I can see how after 200 plus pounds that you would probably be going through a tired phase, right?
That's
Um,
incredible. You know?
yeah, I mean, amazing. I mean, just that you've
Yeah.
lost a whole entire person, and for some people, two people,
Yeah.
you,
That's
you've lost.
incredible.
Yeah, it's like you probably, if I put it in perspective, you probably lost like 5 of my daughters. Can you believe that? Because she's 50 something pounds. So I just think that you deserve to be, take a rest. Sometimes you need to rest
Yeah.
and relax and reset. Maybe you just need a little bit of a break. I think the problem, we don't kind of want to take a break, is we don't want to break that momentum, right? Because once
Right.
you break the momentum, sometimes that could get us in trouble. But I think for you, somebody who's been on this grind for so many years and doing your thing and doing an excellent job, I think you might just need a reset, and
Yeah.
give yourself grace to have that.
And it's
You
okay
look
to
great, by
rest.
the way. Look at you. You look great. Look at you. That blue in
Yeah.
the back popping out like that. I love it. It's in my glasses. I feel like my glasses are blue now. All right, Debbie. I hope that was helpful. Any other questions you see in there, Taisha? Or
Uh,
celebrations? It doesn't have to be a question. I saw some celebrations, but I don't remember where I saw them.
oh, guys, we're sorry.
Yeah, this chat
Uh,
is popping. It's so long. I love this comment. It's a tough, but oh wait, he says obesity. Oh, MVP says obesity or overweight is a chronic progressive disease. These meds are a tool that helps with a lot of different issues, but it is not a cure. No, it's not a cure for the problem. That's true. It's not a cure. It's a tool. It's a tool for sure. And I think, people find that out if they come in thinking that. I think you learn pretty quick that it is just a tool. It's a tough truth, but it's a real statement. Also, if you're not getting the razzle dazzle with weight loss. There are more meds on the way. Trulicity, Victoza, Saxenda, we're not effective for everyone. Yes, that's what's exciting. I'm excited about that orthofenpal or orthopropal, whatever it's called, the pill that's coming out. I'm excited about that. Now, this one I can pronounce. This reminds me of the Countess of Shopping. Every time I say this word, I think of her with that retatrutide. She
Is
has
it
that big
or
dinosaur.
forglipron or forglipron?
That sounds more like it, or froglipon,
Listen,
or
this is
forglipon.
my first time even attempting to say the word, so here we are.
Yes. Now that would be something I would do if I was in maintenance. I would take that pill. I sure would. I would love to see them have a once a week pill or a once a month pill. And I'm sure somebody's working on it as we speak. That would be right up my alley because then I won't have to remember to take it every single day. But I don't love the idea of doing an injection for the rest of my life, but I would. But I just think it's going to be, I think people will find coming down the pike is so many exciting things coming up here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like, we're in this situation now. And if you're one of those people that aren't losing on that 15 and you're feeling hopeless, I would just give it another year because there's some great things coming up. All right, anything else, Taisha, you see?
Let me see. Okay. I see that this one popped out to me. It's at 8:44. It's by Joe. She's um she's doing a live tomorrow, but you have to look at the comment. It's at 8:44.
Let's see. I'm sorry. I'm like, oh gosh, it's off. I'm either scrolling down to
Too far or too yeah.
yeah, well, okay, so let's go with this one. This is a comment I stopped at. I think that those who disappear are missing the awesomeness of this community because the motivation from the community then helps me stay on the journey. I agree. That's what kind of keeps me going too.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I
I'm
can
trying
read
to
one
find.
that Davina put. This
Is
was
it
at
about
8.
weight loss? I was trying to do some
Oh, we're doing
celebration.
weight loss specifically. Okay. Okay, okay. Let me see. Oh goodness. If you're here still and you did put a comment about a win, if you could just put it again so it can be right at the end and we can see it easily. Or
Oh, this is the one you were,
forglipron. Oh,
or
Mel gave
Forgl.
us the phonetic breakdown. Oh,
Thank you, Mel, to the
or
or
forglipron.
Forglipon.
Or forglipron.
Yay!
Hey.
Joe says, I'm doing a live with others tomorrow. Two of us have never done a live before. And I said, the gold standard is Dee Dee's live. But my goodness, she put so much effort into it. We can't get anywhere close. Well, maybe not the first one, but you certainly can build your way up to it. But you
Yep.
never know. You might surprise yourself. I love that. That's too funny. All right. Anybody want us? If you put a comment about a celebration, can you copy it and paste it back? Because
Ooh.
we're having a hard time finding this. The chat goes on forever and ever and ever.
Harjarine put a super chat.
Harjarine, let's find Harjarine. Oh, Mel. Mel is so funny.
Oh, forglipron.
Marjorie, thank you. She says, "God, I caught you ladies, but I hate I missed the beginning. I am sure tonight's live was great per usual." Well, you can always go back and watch the replay, but
Yes.
thank you. How cool is
Yes. Thank
that?
you.
We love that. Thank you. Okay, let's give her a super chat. Here we go.
Yay.
Bam. Thank you, Marjorie. All right, very good. Thank you. And then we have to give Mel. Mel was giving us a super chat.
Yes. And help with the pronunciation, right? All right, Didi, we got
Or
this.
Forglipron.
Yes,
Oh,
or forglipron.
I feel like a professor. Or
I
Forglipron.
know.
I
A
feel like we need like
forglipron.
a manners class when you say that. Like
Right?
you need to know how to like handle your silverware and
Yes, I
set the
feel like it's
table.
fancy or
Fancy
forglipron.
smancy. All right. So, guys, this has been great. It has been awesome. Connecting with Taisha. We had such a great time. The comments, I wish you guys could see the comments of it all. They scroll down so fast. I'm in StreamYard. Taisha, are you on Ecamm now or are you on YouTube?
So I have the chat popped up from YouTube.
From YouTube. Okay.
Yeah,
And
but that
so this
still goes.
It goes so fast. It's hard to keep up. We had so many messages in the chat. So yeah, so if we didn't get to your message and you really want us to see it, just recopy it and paste it in there. And if not, I'm sorry. Okay, Jazzy copied and pasted something. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I made it down 90
Oh
pounds.
my goodness.
And you were trying to make 100 pounds like me. Oh my gosh. Good. You're going to get there before me. I love that.
That's awesome.
Jazzy.
That is
Oh my
awesome.
goodness. Let's give her some confetti. Awesome.
Let me see.
And that's a great birthday gift for you too. Like you, those 90 pounds came rolling in.
Oh
We
yeah.
love that. Anybody else want to give us a celebration? It's probably so far up in the chat. People are saying congrats. Doris, wait, Doris, something was going on with Doris. Doris, now she's a new YouTube member. Go Doris,
Hey.
go Doris, go Doris, go Doris. Love it. Thank you. Let's see, let's give her some confetti. All right.
Nice.
We love that. Love it. Thank you. Anybody else, if you could re-put that in the chat. She says, thank you. Congratulations. 90 pounds. I mean, geez, Louise, you guys are doing it. See, this is the kind of stuff that inspires us, as content creators. When we see other people, doing so well, it's really inspirational for sure. Let's see. She said, everybody's saying you're welcome. Okay. And if not, simply Taisha and I can't believe we finally did it. We finally got together. I thought it was a great discussion. Thank
Can you believe we've been on for 2 hours and 24 minutes?
No, it went so fast.
It did.
It did. It went really fast. Okay, my daughter's probably like, what are you doing, lady?
And Cerberus is like he's pouting over there.
All right. Well, we will see you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. Oh gosh, this is going to be a doozy of a weigh-in tomorrow. And Simply Taisha, she's going to be on Monday on her live at 7 p.m. And we thank you for joining us. Thank you for asking questions. Thank you for the support. We just appreciate it. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hey, thank you to everybody that gave the super chats, Mail to the Bee, Nicole, Bellflower, MVP. We love the MVP. Let's see. We got Doris. Thank you. Mel B again came up with that pronunciation. And Harjareen, we're going to leave on that note. Harjareen, thank you so much for stopping in. Thank you for being supportive, catching that replay. Hopefully you can catch it. And then we will see you tomorrow.
Dee, we got to say our taglines.
Yes.
It's your live, so I'll go first, right?
Yes.
We share our journeys, but we should never compare them.
And slow and steady wins the race. Just don't quit. Good night. Thank you.